Call the wise man.
The number you have reached is not in service. This is a recording. The number you have reached is not in service. This is a recording.
In 3, 2, 1, clap.
Benoit balls.
I still think Kevin Sullivan did it.
I'm Aubrey Edwards. I'm not a wrestler.
Tony's quick sniffs of the week.
No, just my dickhead friends causing concussions and shit. All right, never mind.
There's barbecue sauce. So good, half the face don't work.
With Hogan that close up on the fucking camera reminds me of my racist uncle. I know you ain't listening, but you know who you are, you fucking racist.
Uncle Oh my God, for real, don't tell me that's his name. Oh, no way. I was kidding. I swear to God. That was just the first thing that came to my head. It was the first thing.
Welcome to the Top of Wrestling with your hosts ODM and the Professor.
Good. Hit the fucking music!
The bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. The bills make me wanna shout.
I forgot you were...
Go Bills, fuck the Chiefs!
Wait, do you want to explain how that came about?
A second bring it to the table, a first one a prequel. End of the game, we're talking. Me and Weezy are outside, and he's like, dude, you gotta beat Mark to the fucking hit the music. He's been battling with you the last couple of weeks. I go, I already got it planned out. 60 seconds at most later, I get a text from you. Hit the music's all yours this week. I'm like,
yeah.
He's like, but you better do it before I beat you to it. I go, dude, we were just talking about this, literally.
Great.
So I figured I had to come in right away.
Dude, that final run was ridiculous.
What a game.
Oh,
I mean, listen, I like Josh Allen's attitude of, yeah, it's week 11. We won. No parade.
Yeah.
No bullshit. On to the next one.
You know, I was just looking at it. Man, if Chiefs get handed another loss, there could be a possibility that we could get a fucking bye week.
Absolutely.
I never even... Again, I was Randy Quaid the whole fucking way, and I still am all the way through to the very end. I have to. I can't get my hopes up. Anyway, I'm 90% sure this is a wrestling show. Hey, this week we're going to be talking some wrestling. We have very little to really bring to the table, not literally for the bring it to the table, but not a whole lot in the wrestling world this past week. Raw was taped. I knew a lot of the stuff that was happening, but I didn't know what they were going to do on SmackDown, how they did that, but I don't know if anyone really watched SmackDown because of that fight. But we're also going to be reliving the Monday Night Wars, which we had WCW Mayhem 99. Surprisingly, wow, an okay show. And a bridal shower. Plus, we have our top topic this week. We are going from the Hefty 32 to the Sweet 16 in our matches of what a new man or Weezy should watch. Hey, you know what is my favorite match of all time? Melina versus Alicia Fox. At least I'll put that above Mike Tyson and Logan Paul.
We all got worked. We all got
yeah,
worked.
I mean, I knew it was
all
going to be.
there
I
is to it,
said, did I not say it like a couple of weeks back? I go, if this thing is a full blown scripted thing, I go, they're using 14-ounce gloves, you get all that shit. I mean, Tyson moved better in his training videos.
Yep.
I still think the biting of his glove, by the way, I personally think that was because he's like, that's something I always do. But a lot of people were like, that's something he's always done. No, it's not. I've watched a lot of Mike Tyson fights. He's never bitten his glove like that often. I think that was his way of being like, yo, back off, I'm gassed.
Mm-hmm. It was pathetic. He landed one good shot in the beginning of the first round. He came in, he hit a shot, and you're like, oh, shit, and that was it. Next thing you know, he's crying in the corner.
The WWE in me kicked in when Jake bowed in front of him. I'm like, uppercut his fucking ass. I'm like, just do it. Hit him right here. I wanted it. Rosie Perez was one of the announcers. So was Akeem from Coming to America.
Did you actually hear after Tyson got backstage, she interviewed him?
No.
Did you see that? She goes,
we all gave up.
She goes, we all know that you lost, but sometimes when you lose, you actually win.
Get out of here. She didn't.
No, I just made that up.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What's a quince? A quince or whatever it is. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, Cedric the Entertainer dressed like
Alibaba?
Yeah, well, that's why I said Akeem from Coming to America. Yeah. But also, then you had, what was it, Beyonce 2.0, or Dollar Store Beyonce. Whoever that fucking chick was that was off to the left, everybody, we were all like, it just looks like a downgraded Beyonce. Know. Anyway, Mike Tyson's the new Joe Louis. He kicked Joe Louis's ass. He was 75 years old. So I'm going to, you know that we're going to be hearing, Mike Tyson was 175 years old when he faced Logan Paul, or Jake Paul.
The memes are already out there. The memes are already out there, yep.
The Logan part, motherfucker, I'll kill you, Mike. That just set up WWE. This was on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Raw's going to Netflix. Tyson's a WWE Hall of Famer. Logan Paul is a wrestler-ish, whatever you want to call him. This would be the most worked thing. Yeah, he's going to do that, and then Jake will show up and be in his corner there. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I turned and said it to everybody that we were watching with. I'm like, you watch. And yeah, you're right, we got worked. Now, the chick that had a surfboard cut out into her eyebrow,
Jesus
that
Christ.
shit.
That shit tells
That
me
was a
boxing's
fight.
rigged, because that bitch should have won. She's like, I landed 109 punches more than her, and she got penalized, and I still lost.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
exact
in what world is
tweet.
an Irish woman beating up a Puerto Rican chick? That shit don't happen.
You couldn't even understand her. She's like, just give me a Guinness. I don't know why I also made her a pirate. All right, let's get into some news here. So I see that you have a couple of things in the news. We got Kurt Angle's working on a 2-part biopic.
Yeah, it's apparently he is working with some directors to get it done. So it's not like he's being consulted. I guess he's putting it out. So keep that in mind when you eventually see it. But it's going to be in 2 parts. One's going to be his Olympic career. One's going to be his wrestling career. Which I think that's kind of cool. It's a good way to do it.
But if it's a biopic, to me that sounds like your Sunday night TV show. Remember how like they had like the Temptations movie? They did part 1 on one Sunday, part 2 the following Sunday.
Oh,
That's
dude, they
what
do
this is.
that like The Stand. They did that with Stephen King's The Stand. I think it was a 4-parter. Maybe even more than that, but yeah.
So I'm interested to see that. I think that'd be pretty cool. I did see this, and I saw you had it in the notes. John Cena confirms he is the first entrant into the 2025 Royal Rumble.
Makes sense.
Lot of speculation.
Mm-hmm.
Does he break a title record?
Exactly.
But who do you dethrone? And do we really need Cena to be a champion? I bet money he doesn't do it. He doesn't win the Rumble. He doesn't win a championship. I think it's going to be, he'll probably go against Gunther or something. It'll be, good, but he won't win. I think if anybody was to ever break it, possibly Randy Orton before John Cena, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I
because
think
he's still going. Cena's 2-part time right now.
Yeah, and at this point, it doesn't really fucking matter anyway, because even if he does, Flair has way more titles than they actually say he does.
True. Speaking of, so this past weekend, we went to hang with some friends, and the second night we were there, the ladies were making like Christmas crafts, like working on some stuff, and they had the Peacemaker in the background. John Cena.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I told you a story earlier. I was like, I was at the sink, but I was at the sink washing a dish or whatever, and I heard, you know what I thought about when I was fucking your pussy a little while ago? I go, Jesus Christ. Cena's pretty funny in that shit.
Yeah.
He's good, man. I like him. I think he's a
better
better
actor
actor
than
than Rock.
Yep,
There.
we've said it before.
Boom. So, Speedball, Mike Bailey is expected to sign with AEW.
Yep.
Fine. I mean, that's where all the flippy doos go, and he's legitimately the same as Will Ospreay, Ricochet. To me, it's just the same. I mean, I like his work, but it's the same guy.
But, I mean, and it's the right move for him, right? Because Motor City Machine Guns, WWE was the right move. They should have been there 10 years ago. Maybe their tag division would be better if they were there earlier, when Revival was there, when American Alpha was there. I mean, that's really, that where they should have been. I also saw something. Josh Alexander's still in TNA, right? Is that what I'm thinking of? He is no longer, he just announced he's retiring from independent wrestling. Which is weird.
Well,
it's a weird thing to say, because if you work for TNA, why wouldn't you take indie dates? Unless he is a little bit older, right? So,
but he's also working for MLP, Maple Leaf Pro.
Maple Leaf Pro, okay. Yeah, but that's not really a lot going on right now with that, so.
I'm like, that is indie to me. I mean, even though you have a platform, you're still, I mean, Ring of Honor had a platform. To me, they were still independents all those years.
And there are rumors that MLP could be a new WWID designated promotion.
WWE ID.
What did
You
I
left
say?
out the E. You left the E out.
Okay.
Get the E out of here. Anyway, I got to be honest. I shouldn't have made this logo. I made this logo just to fuck with you, and now all I'm seeing is Mike Tyson's bare ass, and
well,
Ving
luckily you put
Rhames
the
next to
logo
him.
over it.
Yeah, looks just like Baby Boy, and I got Rosie. Anyway, so hey, also Becky Lynch is hinting that she's going to be coming back because she's got some payback to give to Dom ever since the cage match. She said so.
Great.
There was rumors that she may go somewhere else. I knew she wasn't going
No.
to. There was no way she was gonna. I mean, especially with Seth being there. Hey, my favorite time of the day, yours. Well, it's TK's quick sniffs of the week. Don't you think that you need somebody? Don't you think that you need someone?
Everybody
You're not
needs somebody.
the only one. We sent it to each other pretty much like at the same time. We're like, yo, TK licensed the entire song for November Rain by Guns N' Roses. And we were both like, it's for Orange. It's got to be for
100%.
Orange's entrance.
So
But
here's a
it's
couple
not.
things. Yeah, well, they licensed it for Full Gear.
But did you see it? Did you see the music video?
I didn't see the video.
So I think it aired on Dynamite, and if it didn't, it's on their YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it builds around Moxley and Orange, but it's the entire pay-per-view, so you're seeing a lot of stuff.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie, the editing was not bad. But whoever did the one part, what's the part when your friends, and even friends seem out to harm you? Mm-hmm. It was Kyle Felcher looking at Will Ospreay. I go, okay, well done. That was pretty fucking good. Right. I'm like, I like that. Like, I look at little continuity of that kind of stuff when it comes to music. I like that shit.
If they could put that same approach to their wrestling program, it's a whole different fucking ball game. Another thing to note is there was an ECW event that used November Rain.
November to remember. They used to always use November Rain, so it's just him copying that.
Yep, pretty much.
They also just recently trademarked Miracle on 34th Dynamite Street or 34th Miracle on Dynamite Street, whatever the fuck it is. And I'm like, WWE has used that so many fucking times already, and they trademarked it to use that for the holidays. And they even did like Christmas Collision. But don't worry, that won't be happening in Columbus because they had to cancel their tapings for the Collision in Columbus, Ohio in December due to ticket sales. Shocked.
Yeah. Oh, well, Meltzer will say it's because it's the holidays, you know?
Sure, absolutely. Moxley has been given creative control. Yeah, that's awesome.
Have you heard? I sent you the one clip. We'll talk about that later at the table. But
yep.
Also on, I forget if it was the Experience or the Drive-Thru one. I think it was the Experience. Moxley did an interview with like the New York Times about the hard reset in AEW, and there's actually audio of it, and they're playing it, and they're just breaking it down. As you can imagine, they're shitting all over it. Moxley sounded like Trump, where he just said a lot of words, but didn't really explain anything.
Beautiful. Can't wait to check that out. And another thing I really like that Tony has done, besides giving Moxley creative control, is he really is... Like, Ricochet's really bad, by the way.
Dude, he's
Twitter, like
Bitchishay.
He is Bitchishay.
Yeah.
Is that someone else said it, or
that's me, man. I threw it in there last week.
Coined
too.
name,
yeah.
Coined for us. So Tony had put up a thing about we got November Rain, we got the song or whatever, and someone wrote, "Cool, put it to something boring." Like, or apply it to something more, something like that, and then did a couple of laughing emojis. And Tony wrote, "Thanks for always being one of the very first to consistently reply to my post just minutes after, and always laughing at your own joke." You're trying to roast fans. Yeah. Bro, you need people to watch you right now. You might just want to be like, hey, thanks.
The problem
or
is
don't
Tony
say anything
Khan,
at all, actually.
Tony Khan's in the same boat as that person that replied to his tweet. They're literally the same person. One just has more money, enough to run a wrestling promotion. Other than that, they're the same exact fucking person.
The only thing he has done right is coming towards, and I still don't understand this, it's so stupid, but MJF had Roddy and Adam Cole over the last couple of weeks. First one to get 3 wins faces me. It looked like it was going to be a triple threat. And then Adam Cole, after getting fucked over, lost to Konosuke. Wow. That's the only thing Tony has booked right in the longest time, is right now they are actually doing something decent with him. I actually want him to go after the world title now. Like, if you're going to put a rocket on someone's ass, this is the one to do. But what I don't get it is that at Full Gear, it's now going to be MJF versus Roderick Strong.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah.
With results this past week, so Nakamura returned as a heel and attacks LA Knight.
I actually saw that segment. The LA Knight segment talking to Legado Fantasma, and he said something about Elektra Lopez. He's like, only she can call me daddy or something like that. And that started the match. It was fucking great. But then, yeah, and again, listen, AEW has some good video editors. I mean, they do a good job. You just mentioned the November Rain package. But WWE has always been fucking top tier.
Yeah.
And they filmed this. They shot it so well because you just see LA Knight, and then you just see a dude come in and kick him. You're like, oh, shit, it's Nakamura. Like, it was one of those things where you knew right away who it was, but they got him in at the last second. It was just shot so wonderfully. And listen, I know he's old. I know he ain't winning no titles. I know he ain't doing shit. I was just happy to see him. He might win the U.S. title.
I don't know, man. He could maybe take the title. Why not? Heel Nakamura. And let me tell you something. It's funny I say turned heel. I take that back. First, we just were like, where the fuck has he been? We haven't seen him since his feud with Rollins. He was heel in that, so he's still heel.
The vignettes in Japanese.
Exactly. Oh my god, I remember the Cody. those reading the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the only heel setups that we had. Tommaso Ciampa turns on Johnny Gargano, leaving him. And then the Street Profits immediately jump Motor City Machine Guns tag division's getting different. I like this right now. We're actually seeing some good stuff going on SmackDown. But Bronson Reed is the one that is joining Team Bloodline for War Games. And as we saw on Raw, which was taped, Rollins is still refusing Roman Reigns and the OG Bloodline, saying he wants nothing to do with it. I have a theory as to who's taking the fifth.
Okay.
I think we're not going to know all the way into the pay-per-view until, kind of like last year, was Randy going to show up or was he not? We have our fifth. He's going to be here. We got one. And you hear Paul Heyman come out. Or maybe you don't hear him come out. Maybe he just comes out with CM Punk. And here's why. Out of spite, because Rollins didn't team with him. He's like, maybe I'll do this. This is a little rub to him. Because they're both going to be probably in the Rumble. Maybe they just have a match with each other one-on-one at Mania. I'm not sure how it's going to happen. But they're going to, eventually collide. This has got to be the way to piss him off. 2 Survivor Series in a row where he's like, fuck you!
Great call. I've seen that thrown out there a lot. I think, to me, that's going to have the bigger payoff long term.
Yes.
Okay. There's 2 other realistic possibilities. If it is Punk, I hope Heyman is there.
And for 2 reasons. One, they were a duo before, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. Number
Paul
2,
Heyman guy.
If they won War Games, Punk pinning Bronson Reed is a bigger fuck you to Seth Rollins, too.
True. Yeah, absolutely. Now, here's the thing. I don't think Heyman coming out with Punk is a good idea. I think if you're going to do it, if Heyman is going to come out, it's for one person and one person only, and that's Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar would be a fun shock. It would be a good moment for the night for me. Beyond that, though, there's no staying power there. Punk is a better choice because it's going to take you further. Or the third option, which is the most blatantly obvious, is that they just had to put 2 people in there, and Rollins and Bronson and Reed are feuding, so we'll put them in there. That's another possibility.
I think that's kind of what they did. I was saying that last week, and I wasn't happy with the insertion of Bronson.
Yeah, it's just shoehorned in.
Or if it is Punk, it's that long-term thing.
Yes.
And it's not shoehorned. There's a purpose to it. Now, my other thing is that everybody's like, well, and I said last week, I'm like, I wanted it to be all Bloodline. You could have did 4-on-4. You did it in NXT.
Sure.
But since you're not going to, and you had to have the 5th, take a look, go to YouTube and look up Jacob Fatu versus Bronson Reed in House of Glory. Holy shit. You want to see 2 hosses really going at it? Good match. So, what if you have a little bit of dissension as well? Like, Bronson's not falling in line or whatever. Jacob and him have a little bit of a collision. I mean, I think it has traction. I think it could be good with Bronson, but again, Lesnar's just a whoa, and
Yes.
it's big because he would be teaming with Roman, right? Because they are nemesis.
Sure,
but
exactly. There is that.
But no long term beyond that.
Not at all. If you're going to do Lesnar, do it at WrestleMania. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, shit, unless your plan is to do something big like Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania versus Brock Lesnar, I could see something. You
That's
know what I
out
mean?
of nowhere, though. That's out of nowhere.
It is.
You know
No,
what I
but I'm
mean?
saying that's why there's not much to it. So if you're planning to watch Full Gear this weekend, I don't think anyone really is that I know of. It's on Saturday night, and Jesus Christ. Did you hear about the pre-show for this? The pre-show match is QT Marshall against some guy that's like either a YouTube famous person or podcast shit.
Yeah, I've read into this. I haven't done a deep dive on it because I'm not going to waste my time. There's this family, and I think they call themselves the Costco guys. And they just basically film TikToks of themselves in Costco about all the shit in Costco that they really like. and the father's really big.
I'm
And
struggling.
I don't know if
Not
he's an actual
necessarily
wrestler.
paycheck to paycheck, but people get paid for that shit.
Oh yeah,
Motherfuckers.
100%. Especially you got a pair of tits. But so yeah, I've been, and here's the fucked up thing that I hate. You know, I told you I typically go to Cultaholic for a lot of the news just to read up on the headlines. I should go to the wrestling news, but that's a podcast, and I just want to be able to read shit real quick. And when I'm scrolling through fucking Cultaholic's website, they've probably got they've got thumbnails, and there's maybe 9 to 12 per page. In the last fucking 3 weeks, there's been at least one headline per page about this fucking Big Boom guy. I give a fuck.
Right. Well,
anyway,
it's on the pre-show. That one you can at least watch for free on YouTube.
It should be on YouTube, if that.
It is going to be on YouTube. That's where they do their pre-show.
Wow. All right. Never mind.
MJF is taking on Roderick Strong. MJF wins.
Yeah.
Jay White versus Hangnail. Jay White got the win at Wrestle Dream, so I'm going to go ahead and say Paige probably takes the win here because Paige only does trilogies.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, and you got to figure this pay-per-view is named after him, basically. So,
Full Gear.
It's a bit from being the Elite back in the day, before the Bucks were really annoying. And they were just making fun of Paige, I think, because he always walked around in full gear.
And Tony's that much of a mark, he named a fucking pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah? No, it's 100% what it's named after. It's 100% what it's named after. Yep.
The tag titles are on the line as Private Party defend against, and they just won these titles, by the way, 2 weeks ago, so we already know the outcome of this match. Private Party defend and will probably retain against the Outrunners, the Kings of the Black Throne, and the Acclaimed. I mean, if you want to give the crowd a fucking reaction, I'd put them on the Outrunners even for the fucking night.
There's apparently a lot of love for the Outrunners, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pull an upset and win it.
I would be happy for them because it's a gimmick that got over on their own.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And they were on like Rampage for the longest
time. But then again, I mean, AEW Mark's probably been watching these guys for 3 years on the Indies, so they probably already know who they are.
TBS title, Mercedes Monet is going to be going against Chris Statlander, which Statlander just turned heel not too long ago, so this is heel versus heel. This makes absolute no sense. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Monet's going to retain. Funniest thing is I saw a tweet the other day that she wrote, "My back is killing me." Mm-hmm. And someone replied, I think the guy's name is Jeremy. It's the best I can remember. Mm-hmm. Is he replied, "It's probably from carrying around that massive forehead."
I think Chris Statlander's a very attractive young lady.
No, Mercedes. Mercedes.
Oh, no shit. Yeah, no shit.
That forehead.
Probably carrying the weight of her own bullshit on her back.
That.
Did you see Chris Statlander talking about her alliance with Stokely Hathaway?
No.
Her explanation about it. Somebody asked her, it's like, so what's going on? You were doing this thing with Stokely, and now you're not, and you're just doing your own thing now. She's like, well, we just both wanted to take out Willow Bertha-Faye, and we did that. So, yeah, no reason to align anymore. Excellent breakdown, Monty.
We just wanted to do this, and that's it. Wow.
Short-term
That's
booking.
actually $20 says that's exactly how Tony explained it to her. We just wanted you to do that, and we got that done, and now you guys can go separate ways. We good?
There you go.
Let's have a good show! Yo, I've seen his pep speeches before the show to every crowd. I've seen it twice live.
Yeah.
And he's jacked up. Oh, 3 or 4 times actually now as I really think about it. And you've seen him where he's like, are y'all ready for a good show? Motherfucker. You're dressed like a pilgrim next to Martha Hart. Anyway, Swerve Strickland will probably lose to Bobby Lashley. They're having Bobby's first match there. Probably, let me guess, probably passes out to the Hurt Lock. You know what I mean? Like something stupid like that.
I mean, fucking Leo Rush almost beat the shit out of Swerve Strickland on Dynamite, so.
You know what I would kind of be okay with? If for just some reason Prince Nana maybe turns on Swerve and joins the Hurt thing. You'd like just give something, give some purpose, but also who's going to do the Swerve? I can't do it. Anyway, Jack Perry is going to be defending his TNT title against Daniel Garcia. Likely another retain. I don't
Probably.
see them putting a title on Garcia. Will Ospreay takes on his former best friend, Kyle Felcher. Probably going to be match of the night, to be honest with you.
I mean, it's got Ospreay in it, so yeah.
Well, in Meltzer's eyes, it's definitely going to be the match of the year.
100%.
And then AEW World Champion Jon Moxley, who is, he wanted to take down AEW in the Superstation and whatever. He's taking on Black Orange Cassidy.
Not black and like skin, like he's just all in black, dressed in black.
He's in all black denim. Black denim Orange Cassidy. That's what I meant.
It wouldn't make sense to take the title off of Moxley now. So apparently now he's got creative control. But also in his interview, he said he wants an environment where everybody can succeed and be successful. Tony Khan is a mark. They even mentioned that there was rumblings in AEW that somebody said that Orange Cassidy or Jim Cornette would like each other or vice versa. I said this almost a year ago, I feel like. Dude, I have a funny feeling they're going to pull the trigger and put the world title on Cassidy. I'm just calling it. I'm just throwing it. Pot of spaghetti against the wall, see if it sticks. I'm just saying.
I mean, nothing lasts forever, and we both know hearts can change, because if not, Orange Cassidy will just end up walking in November rain.
Exactly. And Slash will throw his fucking guitar off the cliff, and hopefully it hits Cassidy in the head.
I actually said to you, I want this Slash show up playing
Darby?
the solo in front of a church, and and you go, he'll throw his guitar, and go, maybe Darby.
When you said you saw the clever editing, I thought you were going to say they were going to show Slash throwing his guitar off the cliff, and then you just see a fucking shot of Darby going flying out the ring.
I think it'd been funny if Darby was just walking, and it just hit him in the head, and that was it.
Don't put it past him.
Oh, man. Well, hey, and by the way, speaking of AEW, Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 2 officially came out on Netflix. And
I saw screenshots.
Britt Baker was in there. And
probably more screen time there than she does on the TV show.
She did, and had more lines. Like, legit was actually, and she wasn't even American. I think she was they were like Switzerland or some shit like that.
She looks Swiss.
She'd look like Swiss cheese if I get it. Anyway, let's go to the table.
Boo.
Just bring it, bitch! Oh my God!
So after we watched the worst fight in boxing history,
boo,
we watched a movie.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, our friends were like, dude, you got to see this movie. Okay. They're like, it's a scary movie, and they had quotation marks going hard. But it's like one of those ones that's purposeful to be bad.
Anaconda.
No, Anaconda
yeah,
was
that one
actually
actually
meant
wasn't
to be
trying to be. Yeah, it wasn't.
They weren't trying. It just
Sharknado.
was.
Sharknado.
There you go. Worse than that. This thing is called Llamageddon, where a llama who has beady red eyes kills people.
Nice.
And when I say the overkill of splattering blood, certain jokes, random, one guy, it's all set in one fucking night. And they don't call it out, but this guy easily goes through 20 different shirts. Just one scene to another, he has a different fucking shirt on. That's
fucking hilarious. That's hilarious.
And you start picking it up. There's so, dude, I can't even explain how horribly awesome this movie is. It's on Prime, Llamageddon. I said that if I had to describe it, it is you ever seen Hot Rod, Andy Samberg?
No.
No. Yeah, I know you didn't, because you're a fucking idiot.
I don't know quality films.
So, this is the Hot Rod of scary movies.
Okay.
It's supposed to be fucking overdone and bad.
Mm.
Do not think that any actor in this is that shitty of an actor. They know they're trying to do stupid things. And this one kid reminded me so much of Crispin Glover that I just couldn't get past it because of how awkward
Lorraine?
Crispin can be. just reminded me so much of him, but like worse. I'm promising you, dude, watch this movie. I need you to put this on your list. It is on Prime. I'm pretty sure, like I said, you will not regret watching Llamageddon.
All right. I won't check it out, but I'll let you know.
I know you won't because you're that guy.
I just might. Who knows? I sent you the link to this. You watched it. I'm just going to give the heads up to the people. I do not expect you to go out to listen to Wrestling Observer podcast or Brian Alvarez's podcast that he does with his buddy. But just go to YouTube and watch the Jim Cornette clip. It is fucking great. It's Brian Alvarez, both two clips, one of him on his podcast and one of him with Meltzer, just talking about the Beast Mortos storyline in AEW and, trying to, like, getting recruited by Roddy to one stable, but he's already in another stable, and just how infuriating it is, if you just watch a show and you have no fucking clue what's going on or why. And he's just freaking the fuck out. He's like, I hate this fucking storyline. It's like, it makes no fucking sense.
For no reason, all of a sudden, his name is Frank.
His name is Frank.
The Beast.
And he's a lawyer. And he's just freaking out. And the best part is when he's with Meltzer. Meltzer, of course, is defending it. Oh, I thought it was a good match. He's like, the match sucked. But the best part is Cornette just cackling. Yep. Every time Alvarez loses his shit because he sounds like Cornette. And you just hear him. He's just fucking dying the whole time, dude. I was rolling. Pass on Llamageddon. Just go watch this clip of Cornette. Let's go to the
you.
Monday Night Wars! Hey, Hitman. I heard you talking about you want to be the best champ there ever was because you stand for dignity and honesty and doing things the right way. And I just want you to know that me and Kev don't care.
Dude, did you know it's really, really hard to hold a candle in the cold November rain? Hey, it's the Wars. We're here. It is Monday Nitro, Monday Night Raw. We got Mayhem, and we even got a little bit of SmackDown. Let me bring you up to speed as to what happened on SmackDown right before that Mayhem pay-per-view. DX, in the very beginning, jumped the Stooges. You tell Vince this is personal. Close. Anyway.
Not bad.
Test is playing WrestleMania 2000 while Stephanie is opening gifts. And she was like, this is, no lie, some of Stephanie's best work so far, and I'm serious on that. She's opening the gifts, and she goes, look at this. He goes, oh, it's a bowl. She goes, Test, I'm going to hit you in the head with this. And he's like, oh, okay. And I was like, wow, okay. And he gives two fucks about anything. And even Lawler's like, he's more interested in his game. Then finally, she opens one that says, your gift is waiting inside the limo outside. Tess is like, oh, it's freezing outside. I'll go out for you. You sure, babe? I got it. Goes out, gets jumped by DX. They throw him in the back of a fucking car, and Billy Gunn drives off. Here is the best thing. So Godfather had a match, and I don't give a fuck who it was against. I think Kurt Angle. That sign guy was back. This time, it was David Koechner, Todd Packard from The Office.
No shit.
Whammy from Anchorman.
Yeah.
Is the one. I'm giving some, in case other people don't watch some of these things. He was the one holding the sign. Thought it was very interesting. I made sure it's him, 100%. Tess ends up coming, they end up giving him back or whatever, and he's backstage being consoled by Stephanie and Shane. And then JR is on the phone. Well, let me tell you something, officer. That man, Jerry Lawler, is a grade A restaurant quality ass. You can't believe a word he says. everybody's trying to find out, or the cops are still trying to obviously figure out who ran over Austin. And it's funny that, because Jerry is the one, oh yeah, his name is Jim Ross. I'm glad that I watched SmackDown that it led back to that. That was pretty funny. And then the Dudleys are on a phone, and all these are done on not on cell phones. One was like an office phone, but the Dudleys was at a payphone. And I was like, but they made it like they got called. Weird, but either way. Devon, I ain't gonna tell you where I was if you know who you messing with. Bubba, he goes, what? No lie, by the way. What? Who? Where? When? And then he goes, I don't even know how to drive. And then hung up.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
That dude killed it in there. That is one of my favorite fucking scenes.
Well.
You will not win your prescription glasses. They reading glasses.
Hey, reading
No
glasses.
more questions for you.
He just taps him on the shoulder when he goes back to sit down. Like, yeah, we're good. We're good.
Oh, he was a tough one. Mankind and Al Snow went to
Las
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, and Al Snow had his camcorder the whole time, and it was like taped up, like a beat up camera or whatever. And Mankind was hysterical. And they're at the table, and he goes, "Look at this hand." He goes, "Man, I am in love with this hand." And Al Snow goes, "Not the first time I've heard you talk about how in love you are with your hand." Awesome line. I fucking cracked up. They were great. They were getting like thrown out of places. They went on roller coasters and shit.
Karaoke.
Yep, they did karaoke as well. DX smoke out somehow, like with like a fire or stink bomb or I don't know what the fuck it was, and they were like Vince and the whole family were all in there, and they threw something in, and everybody was they go, "What's that smell?" Stephanie goes, "I smell it too." Another reason I liked her, she went charging, running hard at Triple H. She goes, "Where is he? Where's Test?" Hitting him hard, and I'm like, it was awesome. But Triple H calls out Vince, gets in his face and says, "You want it to end, we make it end." And what's that next pay-per-view you got? Armageddon. It's going to be the game. Triple H against Vince. And then you see that Stephanie and Shane and Test are all laying down by stairs. Like all of them, I don't know, tripped, fell, pushed, something. And Vince just goes running, and that's the end of SmackDown.
Stephanie was bleeding from her head like Serrano at the end of that fight.
Every time they kept saying her name, like, "Oh, Serrano," I'm like, "Serrano hates curveball," or whatever the fucking shit, or like the...
Fuck you, Jobu. I do it myself.
All right, let's talk about what was a surprisingly decent, I think, pay-per-view for WCW. Maybe it's 1999, and this is the best I can accept.
Relatively. Yes. It's still basically a Nitro. Mayhem's in Toronto. Important to note that. They recap the World Title Tournament. They actually have an opening vignette for it. And you're going to have Benoit versus Jeff Jarrett and Sting versus Bret Hart. They confirm, even though they said the opposite on Nitro, that this is not going to be a four-way match. The winners of these two matches will face each other later tonight for the world title. So
Bro,
we open up
it doesn't matter what we said. We're going to switch it up.
Hard reset. Dude, they're doing the same thing WCW did. They're still copying them.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, man. It's fucked up.
I can't wait to see what comes up in Nitro where it's like Moxley in crew.
Bash at the Beach 2000. Moxley's going to say, "You know why this company's in trouble?"
Lays down to like Max Caster finally winning the championship.
Oh, shit. All right. First match, it's Benoit versus Jeff Jarrett. It's a world title tournament semifinal. There's this great move on the floor. Jeff Jarrett ducked a chop from Benoit. And Benoit spun around, and Jarrett picked him up like for a backdrop, but threw him crotch first into the post. It was an impressive spot. Creative Control come to the ring. I saw a sign that said, "This is still crap," and they're about to prove it. Benoit hits a flying headbutt. He gets pulled off by Creative Control at a 2 count. One of them distracts the ref. The other one feeds Benoit to Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett hits the stroke. Then Dustin Rhodes hops the barricade, pulls Jeff Jarrett off at 2 count. One of Creative Control tried to get Jeff Jarrett the guitar, but Benoit gets it. He uses it, gets the 3 count, and gets beat down by Creative Control post-match. All right.
Yep.
Accurate. Today is with...
I'm like, did you freeze up or are you just staring at me?
Nope, I always try to pause for you here, but, some matches you don't need to comment on. Tanay's with Disco Doucher just on the other side, I guess what you would call Gorilla, of the entrance. And Jarrett and Creative Control are coming through, and they just beat the shit out of Disco Doucher. So there was that, at least. Next, you get Evan
just
Courageous.
to chime in, I have, certain things for YouTube, that I'm subscribed to, and I sometimes like to hear a couple of things Eric Bischoff has to say. And I think at the end of this week, I have it. It's a notify me when it's coming up. It's called just a part of a segment, but it says why I fired Disco Inferno. I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun. I can't wait for that one. So I'll let you know how that one goes.
Yes. Next, you get Evan Courageous with Medusa versus Disco Dicknuts for the Cruiserweight title. Tony Marinara makes an appearance. Hooray. And he joins commentary. Starts talking about Disco owing Tony Marinara $25,000 and says Disco's life is on the line if he doesn't win. Medusa flirts with Disco, then slaps him. Tony goes to Medusa to kick it to her, and Courageous goozles him. Disco gets a chair, accidentally hits Tony Marinara. Courageous wins the Cruiserweight title, and apparently $25,000. Disco dish rag carries Tony Marinara to the back, and Courageous and Medusa make out because Russo. Speaking of Russo, he runs down Jeff Jarrett, telling him he's got to prove himself tonight after that pathetic display against Benoit. Gene's in the back with Screamin' Norman Smiley. He's back in the hockey gear since they're in Toronto. He's wearing a Ty Domi jersey. He's got a hardcore title match against Brian Knobbs tonight, and something drops in the background, and Smiley just freaks out. And apparently that's where he got his name, Screaming Norman Smiley, from, is when he's getting the shit kicked out of him, he screams like a fucking little schoolgirl. Because Russo.
Well, I do it too, but it's to make them feel pity.
Sure, okay.
They're like, oh my God,
you
Rick,
actually
I
do
think
it.
we're
You actually do a
beating
really
female.
good Norman Smiley without even thinking about it. That scream. Brian Knobbs versus Screaming Norman Smiley for the hardcore title. Heenan says, there's no screaming in wrestling. Just, throwaway line from the movie.
Sure.
That's good. They fight to the back of the arena. So Knobbs and Smiley end up in an elevator. The door closes. Hart gets a garbage can. The door opens. Hart swings it, but he hits Knobbs. And fucking Norman Smiley wins the hardcore title because Russo.
I like
and then
it.
Knobbs beats down Jimmy Hart post-match. This was so ridiculous. They went to the area of the arena where they stored all the food, and Jimmy Hart got on a ladder and just started dumping boxes of rice-a-roni and fucking oatmeal and shit on people. It was a shit show. Tanay's in the back with Revolution. They have an elimination match tonight. Then Gene's with the Filthy Animals. And the best part of this might have been the fucking moment of the night. Conan starts doing his promo, how he gets kind of hype and he just fucking, and Conan goes, what is it this time, Gene, the belt or the hat? Gene goes, the hat. Conan goes, go ahead and feel it. That's enough. It was fucking great. Because Gene just played into it so perfectly. Next you see Disco Dingus and Tony Marinara in the back commiserating. Tony says, I'm coming tomorrow and I'm bringing the boys. And Disco says, I'm a dead man. We could only hope.
Dead man.
Good hope. Jeff Jarrett and Creative Control are walking backstage. Jeff Jarrett has a 2x4. Next, you get Revolution versus Filthy Animals in a 6-person elimination tag match. I say 6-person because it's Saturn, Malenko, Asia versus Eddie, Kidman, and Tori. And Shane Douglas joins commentary. And Conan has the camcorder ringside. This is really fucking weird because when I saw it, I'm like, there's no way this is real. This is a work, but where does it go? and it didn't go anywhere near where I thought it would go. Malenko is on the floor, and a fan, he's got his face painted, he's got all Canada gear on, he's got a Canadian flag, he fucking spears Malenko with the flag. Security swarms, they drag him out, Malenko looks like he took a swipe at him. Okay. At some point, you see Eddie tending to Tori in the corner. Kidman goes to get Eddie, like, hey, we're getting our ass beat. Eddie doesn't realize it's Kidman and shoves him away. Malenko rolls up Kidman for the first elimination. Eddie and Kidman start shoving each other. Eddie gets a pin on Malenko. Eddie dodges a sidekick and Saturn hits Asia. Eddie hits a frog splash on Asia for the pin. So it's Eddie versus Tori. Eddie and Tori versus Saturn. Tori's not even on the apron at this point. She's just on the floor like a manager. She's in the fucking match. She's just on the floor.
Yeah. She's not a wrestler.
Rings a Saturn.
Like,
Eddie taps.
Like Aubrey.
Now it's
not
Tori versus Saturn. Because Russo. Tori hits a low blow, gets a 2 count. Shane Douglas gets on the apron. And then Saturn hits a twat blow on Tori and gets the 3 cunt.
Did you say a 3 cunt?
I don't know what you're talking about. We go back to the locker room. Jeff Jarrett and Creative Control are beating down Buff. Next, you get Kurt Hennig versus Buff. Loser has to hang up their boots. Jeff Jarrett and Creative Control come to the ring. Buff is still beaten down, though. They beat down Hennig. Buff comes to the ring to make a save. The match starts. Buff wins with a lackluster blockbuster. Heenan freaks out about Hennig losing and having to quote-unquote retire, and Hennig actually gets a standing ovation.
He's done.
Tenay's with Sting. He says, I shouldn't have to regain what I never lost. And just don't forget, Tenay, it's still showtime. Sting versus Bret Hart, world title tourney semifinal. Winner's going to face Benoit for the world title later tonight. Hart is wearing a Team Canada Gretzky jersey. And here's what I thought in my mind, because I've been saying this since Bret Hart showed up to WCW. This is the match, right? Like, this is the match that you want to see. They're not really complementary styles, but at least it's the battle of the Deathlock versus the Sharpshooter. There's an angle there that never got fucking exploited. They talked about it during the match, but that alone could have been enough reason for a feud. You know what I'm saying?
Because they rushed it. Because they went to WCW Halloween Havoc, I believe, 98 is when they fought for the U.S. title, and I think Hart cheated, or like they also did it on Nitro. They were throwing shit away. They weren't doing it right, and that's why it's this match here was good. I liked it. That's why I think I like this pay-per-view, is because of how things went. But this, yeah, they blew it on this.
The match,
they could have made it really well.
The match was decent to a certain point, and here's the thing: I've got no notes really on the content of the match. I've got notes on all the bullshit that happened at the end, and here we go.
Yeah,
there's a blatant ref bump. Total Package and Liz come to the ring. Total Package has the bat, and he goes after Sting's knee. Brett takes the bat and takes out Luger, puts Luger on a sharpshooter, and the ref calls for the bell. Sting gets DQ'd. How did Sting get DQ'd if Luger hits Sting with the bat? Shouldn't Bret Hart get DQ'd?
Russo.
Okay. Well, Bret doesn't want to win this way, and so he asks to continue the match, and they do. Sting gets the deathlock on, but Bret attacks Sting's injured knee and kind of picks him up and goes right into a sharpshooter of his own. That spot was cool. Sting tapped out. Bret goes to leave, but Sting calls him back. They shake hands, and we have 2 Canadians in the World Title Tournament Finals in Toronto. I mean, that's probably the best booking we've seen from WCW in like 2-3 years.
That, and then right after it was over, Bret did a promo where he said, sometimes I need some time all alone. Sometimes I need some time on your own. Yeah. Everybody needs... All right, I'm done.
No, you're good. I thought
when your fears subside and shadows still remain.
Yeah. No,
I know that you could love me when no one's left to blame. Whatever.
I thought you were gonna say something like, he said, yeah, Sting, I kicked your knee out of your knee.
That was Owen.
Yeah, I know it was Owen, dumbass.
I wish he called him. What's it? Steve Borden? Is that his name? I think that's Sting's real name. Steve
yeah, I don't
Gordon or
remember.
something like that.
It's Steve, I think. Yeah, that sounds about
Yeah,
right.
but
Close enough.
like the way he says Bill Goldberg,
Yeah.
Steve Borden.
Mike Tenay's with Liz and Luger. Luger's already in a neck brace. Says he already saw a doctor. He won't be able to compete tonight. And he's going to write a personal check to all the fans that don't get to see him wrestle tonight. Oh, boy. Vampiro versus Berlin in a dog collar match. OK and Dr. Death come to commentary, and OK has a bottle of his signature barbecue sauce. I saw a sign that I thought was fucking great. Spear this, gold bitch.
I like that. It's a really good one. I can't wait until we're done with the wars and we just read all the signs again.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be the best. Berlin won't put on the collar in a dog collar match. He refuses. The Wall gets involved. He ends up putting the collar on. Vampiro made a move, and OK still doing the I'm just going to repeat something 3 times like JR. Vampiro! 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 So from now on, I'm calling him Vampiro. I wrote it in the notes as such, and I will do from now till eternity. OK does the good God, somebody stop the match.
It's annoying.
Fucked up
It
when you
bothers
think
me
about
if
it,
they
because
even
Dr.
do it.
Death
Like,
really was JR's boy, and now he's just fucking shitting on him.
Yeah. I hate the whole thing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, that's why he died. So
Jared's
the
still
Wall
alive.
goes for the pin. Berlin pulls him off twice. Then it's Vampiro versus Berlin again. Still no dog collars. Vampiro wins, and Dr. Death cleans house.
Oh, you just fucked up twice. You just called him Vampiro twice, not even Vampiro.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's going to be hard. I didn't start
land.
typing it
It
until
didn't last.
later. Yeah, we'll see. We'll get back to it. Next, you get Mike Tenay with Scott Hall. Hall has the U.S. and the TV title because Steiner had to vacate the title after getting powerbombed through the stage. So naturally, they said, well, we'll just give it to Hall. He already has a title, so he should have 2. And he says he's got an open challenge for the titles. And he said, anybody who wants him, tell him to come over there, over here. Points at his dick.
I'm not sure if it's going to be on Nitro or a Thunder, but I'm pretty sure that title right there is where him and Nash play basketball in the back, and they put the television title in the trash.
That's fucking awesome. That sounds about right. Sounds about
But
right.
he's like, oh, and he puts it in the trash playing basketball. It's pretty funny.
We see Kurt Hennig leaving the arena. Looks very dejected after having to hang his boots up. We see Kimberly arriving to the arena, smattering. Next, you get Luger with Liz versus Mang. Luger still has the neck brace on. And they do, as shitty of an angle as this is in this whole Luger injury nonsense, weaseling out of matches bullshit is, they do a good job of pointing out that, well, with that neck brace on, Mang can't lock on the Tongan death grip. Okay. All right. I mean, in a sea of turds. Liz has the mace. She sprays Luger on accident because that's what she does. No pills for her tonight. Mang ends up taking the brace off and hits the Tongan death grip for the win. And you just ruined it.
Who ruined what?
Next, you get Gene with Bret Hart.
I didn't say anything.
You see Luger walking right in the back of the promo. Just look, Liz, I just want to talk. I got pills.
Extra doses for her.
We see David.
Oh,
Flair
that's why it happened.
Yeah, probably not the first time she went down the stairs. We see David Flair in the back, and he's polishing his crowbar. Euphemisms. Scott Hall versus for the TV and U.S. title. Says he just talked to Big Kev. He's on his way here, so anybody wants some, don't sing it. The best part is, again, timing in WCW, nobody understands it. Booker T's music plays for exactly 1 second, then stops. And then about 5 to 10 seconds later starts playing again. Jeff Jarrett and Creative Control.
Is he in Gorilla? Fuck. Well, where is he?
Jeff Jarrett and Creative Control come to the ring. Booker takes Creative Control out, goes after Jeff Jarrett. That allows Hall to hit an Avalanche Outsider's Edge to retain the titles. And Jeff Jarrett and Creative Control attack Booker post-match. Midnight makes the save. Midnight, I never thought you could say this, but Midnight's a worse worker than fucking China. She dropped one of the creative control guys right on his fucking head.
I saw that.
We see Luger in the back angrily looking for Liz. And then the match of the night, you get David Flair versus Kimberly.
Match of the night is fucking wow. That's quite an accolade that you just gave me for this thing, because this thing had more fucking twists and turns than I've ever seen in anything. This was hard to watch.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, go ahead, break it down.
It's like Llamageddon. David gets a...
If it wasn't, yeah, Llamageddon knew they were trying to be bad. This here was trying to give you something good to watch.
Not at all. Well, no, Russo knew what he was doing. He just did it shittily. And it was a bad idea, too. David gets in the ring with the crowbar, and he opens the match by just hitting himself in the dick with the crowbar. Now, obviously, he's wearing a cup. Commentary even calls it out, right? David just knocks the ref out with a crowbar, and it looked like shit. And then Kimberly drops to her knees.
Wait, back up. You're saying he just hits himself. It's because she tried low blowing him.
I must have missed that
She
part.
low blowed him. Okay,
Gotcha.
yeah. She low blowed him in the corner.
Oh, she low blowed him?
Yeah, they kicked him right in the dick, and he kind of did like a weird no-sell, and she was like, I hit him. And he picks up the crowbar, slaps himself in the dick.
I gotcha. Well, then Kimberly drops to her knees, so apparently she's ready to low blow him again. And then Kimberly turns on the charm.
But a different version.
Yeah, different version, yeah. She turns on the charm, and then she just reaches in David's pants. That dirty bitch. She pulls
the crowd was like, yeah, blow him. They were all like excited because she was like giving flirting eyes and like rubbing on him. They were like, yeah, take his pants off.
It's no different than a Saturday night in a bar in Richland. But
well, they were missing a couple of guys. And that was Pulaski.
You don't know what happened in the back. You don't know what happened in the back. And there's a lot of people that interfered in this match, so, you know. She reaches in David's pants. She pulls the cup out. But she pulls it out with the jock. So apparently David didn't wear the jock. He just had it stuffed in the front of his pants. For those of you who are not familiar with wearing a jock strap, it's basically a thong with a pocket in the front where the cup goes in. So she actually pulled out the whole...
I'm actually thinking that's exactly what Tyson was wearing.
Yeah, probably.
Just the cup?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You think he was just wearing a thong because it was fashionable?
Did you see his Versace underwear at the fucking weigh-in?
It actually was a pretty fancy jock strap. I'm not going to lie. I think it was bedazzled. All right, let's just get to
anyway,
this.
Yes.
She pulls out the cup, hits him with it, then a dick kick, then a kick to the gut, and then she's trying to get the cup out of the jock strap. It's like 3 snaps on the front typically with those things, and she couldn't get the fucking thing open.
Yeah.
There's a joke in there somewhere. We're going to go right past it. She gets the cup out eventually and puts it right on David's face, starts slapping him. David gets back up with the crowbar. Canyon runs in, takes out David. Then DDP comes to the ring. David Flair low blows Canyon with the crowbar. DDP takes out David, hits a cutter. Then Arn Anderson comes in, takes the crowbar from DDP. David attacks Arn Anderson with the crowbar. Arn is put on a neck collar and a backboard and stretchered out. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, dude, it was bad. And besides that, they actually did mention, they go, Canyon, we haven't seen him in quite some time because he's been filming out in Hollywood for Ready to Rumble.
Yep.
Sprinkling it in.
Oh, God.
I can't wait to do a watch along with that. That's going to be
the whole episode is just going to be a loop of David Arquette is the world champion. David Arquette is that's just going to be the whole episode. I'm just going to let you know that right now. We're not even going to do the wars that week. No,
when's the last time you actually watched Ready to Rumble?
When it came out.
I'm excited to watch it. It's going to be a good one.
I will definitely rewatch it 100%. 100%. All right, next you get Sid versus Goldberg in an I Quit match. Goldberg gets a rear naked choke on Sid. Sid passes out. Goldberg wins. Anything else you want to say about this match?
Nope, it happened.
All right. Gene is with Luger, says Liz has been hiding from me all night. She knows she screwed up, and I don't get mad. I get even, and tomorrow she better watch her back.
And what she drinks.
Mm-hmm. You get your main event. It is Benoit versus Bret Hart in the World Title Tournament Final. The fan from earlier that poked Malenko with the flag hops the barricade. and attacks Benoit. But it's Malenko. Huh? Why? So, did he plant a fan to attack him and then dressed like that fan to... I don't get it. Should make it a bug.
Bro, it'll make sense, I promise, when they watch it on TV.
Oh, God. Security take Malenko away. Hall and Nash come to the ring. They take the ref out. Goldberg makes a save. Hall hits Goldberg with a chair. Outsiders head up the ramp, but Goldberg follows them. They fight off. And it's so exciting that we get a split screen because we have to see the Outsiders and Goldberg fight backstage instead of the world title match happening in the fucking ring. Brett locks in a sharpshooter. Someone throws a roll of toilet paper. Dude, the shot was great. They had the camera on them, and then somebody in the crowd behind, what you would call the hard cam point of view, just launches this roll, and it flew so beautifully through the air, had a nice tail on it, and Benoit taps. They have pyro go off. Bret Hart's your world champ in WCW. Family join him in the ring. Benoit and Bret hug. Benoit actually started hugging some of Bret's family. It was a good fucking moment. And it's about 10 days past the 2-year anniversary of the screw job.
Oh, wow.
So...
And 2 years too late.
And 2 months before getting retired.
Oh, God, I can't
I'm
wait.
sorry, 1 month.
Oh, God, it's going to suck.
Mm-hmm. It only gets worse from here. The next night is November 22nd, 1999. Nitro's in Detroit, Michigan. Brett comes to the ring, says it's been a long 2 years, and I'm going to be the best world champ that WCW's ever had. Dedicates the win to his father, Stu. And you see, what you got to do here is you got to pull that arm around back here, you see? Sounds like Canadian Bob Dylan.
How many rings must a wrestler wrestle in before he can retire his boots?
I didn't like the story
I
they made
just went
Diana
a
look like a
little bit.
whore.
Mine kind of turned into a little bit of Mexican at the end there. I can't do it.
It ain't easy.
Boots.
Hey,
Hey, Brett, come over here, man. Yes, Padre.
Brett says he has infinite respect for Bill Goldberg. Hey, you want a shot? I'd be honored to see you at Starrcade. You're going to regret that, motherfucker. The Wolfpack music hits. Hall has a shirt. It says Landing Strip. And if you read the shirt, it's a strip club in Michigan.
Oh, I didn't realize that that's what it was. Yo, my version of this looked like it was like it taped over like 80 other things that were taped over on a VHS tape. It
Channel
was really
99.
kind of a shit. Yeah, it was really not the best. But may I do this, please? This was actually
sure.
a sound clip we used.
Yeah.
Will Sasso, right? Was Will Sasso? Is it him? The one that does the...
I don't remember seeing Will Sasso there.
No, not Will Sasso. Who is it? No. Who's the one that was on Chris Van Vliet and does the Scott Hall impression?
Oh, yeah. That's Will Sasso.
This is the part. Hey, I just want to tell you, Hitman, Big Kev and I were in the back listening to you, and we don't care.
We don't care.
I fucking love it. Which just
listen,
is a kick in the dick. I love it.
And again, in a sea of shit show, you've got a guy with major substance abuse problems, and Nash was probably right there with him at a very close second. And they're still like the bright spots, even though the shit that they're doing is the drizzling shits. They're making the most out of it, man. They're selling it. They're at least trying to do something with it, I guess. They used a line from that I've always heard Cornette say. I'm guessing it's a wrestling phrase because Hall says, we took this place from the outhouse to the penthouse. Cornette says that a lot. He actually says, he's usually actually talking about AEW and says, yeah, they went from the penthouse to the outhouse. That's usually the way it goes, but whatever. Nash says he wants Brett and Goldberg in a tag match tonight. Brett accepts. Jeff Jarrett slips into the ring, hits Brett with the guitar, calls Brett slapnuts. So we're getting that. That's always fun. Says, I'm the chosen one. That belt belongs to me. Now hit my music. And leaves with the title. Mike Tenay is with Kurt Hennig because I guess hanging up his boots doesn't mean he can't be at the arena.
Begging for money.
There's one thing Hennig wanted to do. He said, I may never wrestle for WCW again, and I'm a man of my word, but these powers that be can't stop me from seeing my fans. And then we see some random dude playing piano with a chick over his shoulder. All for one thing.
Yep.
Maestro is how they refer to him. And we'll see a lot of him throughout the show. Next, you get Kidman and Conan in the back. Conan says, this thing with Eddie's getting out of hand, man. You got to chill the fuck out. Tony Marinara is with Johnny the Bull and Big Vito. Tony Marinara says, I want Disco's head on a plate. I want him dead. I want his wife dead. I want his kid dead. I want to burn down his house. I want to piss on the ashes. We get Lex talking to the powers that be, a.k.a. Russo. Says, listen, I want to book a match between Liz and Mang. Hey, Liz is assigned to me, not to WCW. And Russo says, it's too good to be true. And then we cut to Liz, who's watching that segment that just happened, going, oh, Lex, what? Next, you get Creative Control versus Conan and Kidman for the tag titles. During the match, we see camcorder footage on the Tron of Eddie and Tori. We don't even really get a good shot of what's happening. I think what they're insinuating is that they were making out or at least flirting with each other. Kidman don't like that, runs to the back, and Creative Control win the tag titles. More than they did in WWF, so.
It's true.
I mean, hey. Kidman gets to the back and beats the shit out of Eddie. Brett and Goldberg are with Tenay, saying Jeff Jarrett stole the belt. And you know what? Brett says, I'll give Jeff Jarrett the first title shot. And Goldberg says, you know what, Brett? You take Jeff Jarrett and I'll handle the outsiders. But you're going to do that by yourself? Okay.
It's pretty much what I do every week.
Yeah, pretty much. We see Spice in the locker room. And I think the new Nitro girl that won that contest says, oh, don't fight her. Don't fight her. Don't fight. And we see Buff with Hennig in the back. And they're basically no hard feelings, being polite to each other, being very cordial. The guy is playing piano again. You don't see him this time. You just hear him. Norman Smiley comes to the ring. He's in football gear and a Lions jersey. Open challenge for the hardcore title. Fit Finlay comes to the ring in plain clothes. Commentary starts freaking out. Apparently he had a really bad injury. They said they never thought he would walk again. He actually had like a brace on like his lower leg on, I think it was right leg or maybe, I don't know. And he just beats the shit out of Smiley.
Crowd popped.
Yeah, they did. Luger is with Liz on the back. Luger just runs Liz down. Tenay's with the Outsiders. Nash says we're getting the band back together. Johnny the Bull and Big Vito are with Chavo. Chavo's trying to sell him jewelry. He said, I'll have my mom come with... One of them says, I'll have my mom come. Is it real gold? Dude, fucking hilarious. And then you hear the piano in the background again. Tenay's with Jeff Jarrett, chosen one. Evan Courageous with Medusa versus Saturn with Asia. Saturn flirts with Medusa. We see a guy with a sign and a tie-dyed bandana going to commentary. Shivani says, I know who that is. And it's Buzzkill. No references to drugs, man. I'm high on life. It's Brad Armstrong.
Right.
Saturn wins with the Rings of Saturn. Asia and Medusa catfight post-match. Tenay's with Kidman and Tori. You still hear that fucking piano. Kidman cuts a promo on Eddie.
Someone is still playing that goddamn piano.
Well, you stepped on my dick. I think I had it in my notes later, but I'll do it anyway.
You stepped on mine on my good wrestling day. I still haven't even
that one was
finished
well warranted, and you should have known that was coming anyway. Tori doesn't look happy. She looks like she doesn't even want to be with Kidman anymore. And Kidman wants a match against Eddie tonight. Tenay's with Eddie now, and he says, and that guy is still playing the piano. Eddie says, hey, man, I'm not proud of what happened, but you're going to do what you're going to do. Things aren't always what they seem, yada, yada. Next, Vampiro with the Misfits versus The Wall with Berlin. OK and Dr. Death show up again, and it's basically just a repeat of the pay-per-view.
I was going to say, this was the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Berlin interferes with the chair, but the Wall stops him from using the chair again. Berlin slaps the Wall. Slap! 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 The Wall rolls up his sleeves and says, bring it. Berlin powders. Wall follows him up the ramp. The Misfits call out Dr. Death, who cleans house, but Pyro is able to spin kick Dr. Death out of the ring. It's going to take some getting used to, man.
The wall. Come on.
Backstage, Liz locks herself in a cage to avoid the match with Mang. We see a limo arrive. Tease who might be in it. Jeff Jarrett with creative control versus Bret Hart for the world title. Grant Hill's in the crowd. There you go.
Detroit Pistons.
Bret is sent to the floor. Creative control go after him. The ref stops them. Dustin comes in with the title, takes out Jeff Jarrett. Creative control chase Dustin up the ramp. Bret passes on the sharpshooter and just takes the 3 count, gets the belt back. Apparently he had no problem with interference this time.
Does that make him a 2-time champion?
Yeah, sure. Why not? We see Luger finding Liz in the cage and apologizes. Let's fix this thing. I'll get the match canceled. Liz gives him the key and says, you know what? You are gonna wrestle Mang. And if you don't get out of this cage, I'll lift it up and put it in the ring.
Who
But
wants
you
a
have the
treat?
key now. How can she get out? You basically put her in a situation where you're going to have to lift the cage because you have the key, asshole. So either open it. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah. Back from break, Liz spots Sting, asks him for his help. And Sting goes, Lizzie, you made your own cage, now you got to sleep in it. I don't know why. I kind of like that. I mean, I am a Sting mark, so.
I laughed that he called her Lizzie.
Yeah, that was probably the best part, yeah. Liz has had more speaking roles in the last month than she ever did in WWF.
I think I only remember hearing her talk.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit further. Yeah, I was going to say the getting married. Oh, yeah. Or the engagement. But then also a little bit when it's like, who are you going to choose? Hogan or Savage? Whose corner will you be in at WrestleMania? And they will you be in the Macho Man's corner? No. Will you be in Hogan's corner? No. I'm pretty sure that's pretty much all she fucking did.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's hilarious. Next, you get Kidman with Tori versus Eddie with Conan. Tori's still not happy. She's getting dragged to the ring by Kidman. Eddie at one point seems like he wants the ref to stop the match, but he just continues the assault. The Revolution come out. They take out Conan. Kidman goes to the top rope, and Tori's up there like, hey, Conan, your boy's getting his ass beat, dude. That allows Eddie to hit a superplex and a frog splash for the win. I don't understand why Kidman is being so jealous all of a sudden. Wasn't like the whole joke the whole time with the filthy animals is that they were running a train on her the whole time?
Well, I think maybe he's falling for her. She probably busted his cherry.
Was he falling to pieces?
Remember how stinky he was for the longest time in the flock? You think he was getting puss?
Addict, yeah.
You know who he was in love with at that time? Her name was Heroin.
Lady H. Powers that beat her with creative control, and said, Russo asked him, which one of you is the catcher?
That's my show. Fuck it. I'll say what I want.
He says, I need you guys to bring me Jim Duggan. Big doof, one kidney.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because he had cancer. He had it removed, remember?
I know. I'm like,
okay.
But it's just,
he's just running him down. He's taking the piss out of him. And then he says, find out who's in the limo, too. Jeff Jarrett comes in to run down creative control. Luger shows up with a forklift to bring that damn cage to the ring. You've got the key in your pocket. Why don't you just open the door and drag her out there?
Me dumb. Me not know how use key.
Pills are good. I don't know. Mike Tenay's with Spice.
Because I can't get the key in the hole. I'm jittering too much.
It looks like, what's her name? Ty Conti.
Oh, my God. That's what I'm saying. He's like, I can't do that on live TV. We're saying put a key in a hole. I'll drive the forklift.
Spice is fighting Tigress tonight. The new Nitro Girl shows up again, trying to convince her. Next, you get Mang versus Liz, allegedly. Let's see where this shit show goes. The forklift literally drives it to the fucking ring and drops it right in the fucking ring. Luger wasn't kidding. Mang starts shaking the cage. He starts ripping bars off of it. Luger gives Mang the key, but Tongan death grip to Luger. Mang rips more bars off the cage. Sting makes a save with a baseball bat. Sting unlocks the cage and Liz powders. There you go.
I was like, I just want him to like get in there and just start kissing her. I don't know why. I'm like, I wanted to see like a random funny side of Ming.
Yeah, that would have been funny. We'll get there later. Duggan's in the back. He's got a bag of cans and a crate of cans, carrying them around because he works for all the arenas now because that's his job. He hears the piano, and he just drops everything. He goes, what a beautiful piano. He goes, scooch over, Liberace. I want to play chopsticks. And he just starts banging the keys and goes, ho!
This is the best part of Nitro, I swear to God. That scene right there.
Next, you get Lash LaRue versus Disco Dirtbag. Tony Marinara and the Goons show up. One of the Goons trips LaRue for reasons. LaRue wins. They take out LaRue, then the ref, then Disco. LaRue comes in with a chair. He takes out the Goons, puts Marinara in a sleeper hold. Oh, and by the way, they brought a body bag with them at some point, and they put Tony Marinara in said body bag. Creative Controller outside scoping out who's in the limo. Come back from break. They're talking to the cops. They set the car alarm off. Dugan's with Russo. Mad about, Russo's mad that Dugan blew up. Dugan, I'm doing it again. Fucking Jimmy Dugan. I was writing it phonetically in my notes.
Did you say Dugan?
I was writing it phonetically for so long, I stopped doing it thinking I had it. Nope, I'm still fucking it up. So if you remember last week, Duggan took the laxative-laden brownies, and when he was shitting his brains out, it was in Russo's personal toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So Russo's not happy about it. He says, well, you know what? I've been eating prunes all week, and I left a little surprise in my commode for you. Take this toothbrush and go scrub my toilet. Okie doke. Next, you get Spice versus Tigress. Yes, this is a match between two Nitro girls. You see Spice Spice is dressed like a schoolgirl. Tigress is dressed like a leopard. Just keep that in mind. Tigress.
Oh, I got
dressed
it.
like a leopard.
Yeah. Oh no, I got it.
Okay. The new Nitro girl comes in with like a makeup case. Spice is hurt. She got poked in the eye or something, and they just stop the match. She's hurt. She's got to leave. And then the new girl hits Spice with the makeup case. And when I say she hit her, it was weaker than a Hogan chair shot. It was so goddamn terrible.
Dude, no one knows what they're doing out there. Russo's like, go have a match. I've never hit anybody before. Yeah. Just give it your best effort. And she just stopped. She like hesitated, barely even she said it on her. She said it on her head.
Right. Then Tigress and the new girl spread makeup all over Spice's face because Russo. Tenay is with Mang, and Mang actually gets to cut a fucking promo. Mm-hmm. And listen, it wasn't that bad.
For a guy that I haven't heard talk since he was Haku in WWF in like 89 and 90. No, yeah, this was perfect.
What did he say? Mang is no fool. I want to challenge Sting tonight. No disqualification. And then he kind of sets up for the tongue and death grip on Tenay, but doesn't actually do it. Next, you get Kurt Hennig to the ring. He stops at commentary, gives Heenan a hug. Obviously, a lot of history there. Cuts a heartfelt promo to the fans, or at least starts to. He gets choked up. Crowd starts chanting perfect, and Hennig can't talk, so he just leaves. We get a tease of the limo door opening. You don't see who it is, though. We go to the break. Jim Duggan goes to Russo's toilet to clean it. But when he goes into the private bathroom, which looks like a fucking just a general restroom, but anyway, he sees Russo's toothbrush sitting in a gold toothbrush case, travel case, next to the sink. And he takes it out, and he uses that to clean the toilet, which had perfectly clean toilet water in it when they showed it.
Right.
And puts it back in, still gross, but puts it back into his travel case. All right. And then they reveal who's in the limo. Sort of. They talk about it on commentary. You don't see him get out of the limo. You just see him come into the arena. You just see him come out of the fucking entranceway. It's Piper. It's fucking Piper. We're in Detroit. Piper says,
coming.
You guys don't need Barry Sanders. You're doing just fine. Are they? Because I feel like they sucked about then. Yeah. And WCW don't need no stinking writers. They write in tits and ass. He actually said TNA, but let's not get it twisted. That promotion didn't exist yet. They write in sex because they can't get any. His mic gets cut out. He gets another one. That cuts out. He goes to commentary, takes a headset. That gets cut out. And Schiavone's like, they're cutting your mic. So he runs back to see the powers that be, and he sees a writer on the ramp across him, tells me where they are. He kicks on the door, and Piper says, so you're the worm all these great athletes are afraid of? 30 years I made the sport. You're a figment of your own imagination. I'll beat you to death with a baseball bat if you ever cut my mic again. Russo says, listen, you're down to one hip, and you're pushing, what, 50? I mean, it was a good line.
Both of them were. The whole thing was great. I liked everything that Piper said too.
In my world, you're done. Go join Flair and Hogan. Go to Boca Raton. Get the hell out of my face. Piper says, I got a 2-year contract. I'll sue your ass. And Russo starts talking back, and Piper does the, My name's Fabiana. No, nothing. All right, never mind. Russo says, all right, you're signed to a contract? You're under contract, huh? Well, I got a role for you. Your role is a ref, and you refuse to do it, you'll breach your contract, and I'll sue your ass. And Piper just goes, oh, okay. And he leaves, and he just keeps repeating, yes, sir. To the point where they go to break, and when they come back, Piper is still just repeating, yes, sir. Gets in the limo, says, yes, sir, I'll referee, and the limo leaves. That's it for the night. Next, you get Buff versus Booker T. Creative Control come to the ringside. Of course, they beat down Buff. Then Hennig comes to the ring, tells Creative Control to back off, and hits a Hennig plex to Buff. Creative Control counts 3. They were in cahoots the whole time. Hennig and Creative Control. And then Midnight comes out because, Black China. Hennig and Creative Control are with Russo. Russo welcomes Hennig to the family. Hennig says if you can't beat him, join him. And Russo tells Creative Control to go get Hoovy. We see Tenay with Sting. Liz interrupts. We hear the fucking piano again. Liz offers a favor to Sting. Sting says, I'm not buying it. Medusa versus Asia. Asia wins. Tenay versus Malenko. Tenay with Malenko. Tonight, Malenko is going to have an international flag match against Benoit. And he says, when I pull down the Canadian flag, I'm going to set it on fire. Because Russo.
Bro, we're going to set the flag on fire.
Yep. So let's get to that match. It's basically capture the flag. It's a flag on a pole match.
Yeah.
That's it. Schiavone gives a shout out to Gordon Soley. He's dealing with health issues right now. Malenko gets the Canadian flag. Beats Benoit with it. Spits on the flag. Revolution come to the ring. They have a barrel. They're going to put the flag in there and they douse it with gas. But then Saturn gets the American flag and adds it to the barrel. And Bret Hart makes the save. Saturn was like a fucking Army Ranger. And you've not mentioned anything about being anti-American. So why would you do that?
Russo. I'm sorry. Are you asking that legit?
Hoovy is with Russo. I thought it was a broad at first. I thought it was like Melissa Etheridge or some shit like that.
He's a very pretty man.
Russo says, hey, man, your work visa expires. Like, no, it's good, Holmes. He's like, I got a bottle of tequila for you. He says, oh, it's not the cheap shit, is it? No, this is good shit. It was Jose Cuervo, so yeah, it was the shit. Pours a shot for Russo. Russo takes it and then spits it in Hoovy's face and asks for his toothbrush. Next, you get Mang versus Sting, no DQ. Liz goes to the ring, goes to Mace Mang. Sting stops her. Luger comes to the ring. Sting grabs by the hair. That allows Mang to lock in the tongue and death grip on Sting and gets the win. Mang has beat Luger and Sting.
So late in life that he's getting this push, but hey, it's one thing Russo's kind of getting right.
Yeah. There you go. Possibly the moment of the night because it was so goddamn bad. We see the maestro playing the piano. David Flair walks into frame with his crowbar. He's grabbing his head, just screaming, make it stop! Make it stop! Go to sleep! Go to sleep! And he just starts smashing the piano with the crowbar. Like he starts by kicking out, the little stand to keep the cover of the piano up. He smashes that out first, and then he just smashes all the keys.
Looked fun.
It did look fun. I'll give you that. Main event, Outsiders versus Goldberg and Sid. It's Sid. Outsiders get the win. Security swarms post-match. Pull apart. Good night, folks.
And now, from the Marine Midland Arena.
That's in Buffalo, for those of you who aren't aware.
Well, they just did they just had a pay-per-view there, I think.
Not too long ago, yeah.
Just like a couple months prior. I think it was back in the summer they had that. That was because we talked about just that.
Absolutely.
The name of it.
Shane's with the Stooges. Shane's freaking out. They're looking for Vince because they're afraid he's going to do something drastic, and we got to go talk him out of it. First match of the night is Mankind and El Snow versus the Hollies. Hardcore runs down Snow. He's pissed off because the 2-pack SummerSlam action figure pack that has Snow and Holly in it got pulled because of Heed. And he says, when you affect the sales of my merch, I can't forgive you. The Hollies win. Snow eats the pin again. Mankind takes out the Hollies with the chair, and Snow's pissed again.
Motherfucker, I didn't even know you had merch.
For real, right? Stooges still looking for Vince. DX is in a limo on the way to the arena. They get a heads up that Vince is stalking them. Shane finds Vince in a car with a baseball bat, and Vince is acting very erratic and says, I'm just sitting in my car. I just want to relax in my car. God damn it. We get Kurt Angle versus Sexual Chocolate. Angle recites part of the Olympic creed, and he says, I got a problem with that quote because I went to the Olympics to do nothing but win gold for me and my country. And some of us didn't pull through for the USA, specifically Mark Henry. He says, Angle says, I want you fans to cheer for the man who brought home the goal, not the guy who was out all night at the topless bar the night before competing and finished in 18th place. Good
He ain't lying.
He ain't lying. Angle wins with you could probably say it looked sloppy, but I mean, it being Mark Henry being so big, it was impressive. It was kind of like a suplex into a bridge pin. So Angle gets the win.
Undefeated.
We go back to the DX. We go back to the DX limo, and they're pulling up to the arena. Vince fires up the car and just rams it into the limo. They did a really good shot of it because they did a shot of Vince like crashing into the limo, but then they had a camera inside the limo, and you saw it kind of tilt to the side. Just, clever editing. And the best part is Vince just screaming, "You want to play the game, huh? You want to play the game? I'll play the game." Then he gets out. He just starts breaking all the windows on the limo with the baseball bat. DX powders. And we come back from break, and Vince is just beating on DX's locker room door with the baseball bat to the point where he broke it in half, and he's just got the top half of it left. Dents in the door and everything.
Was it Shane or one of the Stooges that was trying to get him to stop? Oh, Slaughter. Slaughter was trying to get him to stop.
Slaughter was there trying to stop him.
And he was like, stop. He goes, I'm fine. He actually said, I'm fine.
Next, you get Godfather versus Jericho. Jericho calls Godfather a piece of crap with your brutally ugly pigs you call hoes. The hoes gang up on Jericho, and Jericho wins with a lion salt. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
There was a sign guy there as well.
Did I not
Godfather.
put it in here? Yeah, I think he shows up later as well.
But it wasn't Kochner. But the one of the hoes, dude, I'm looking at him weekly. No one is changing. No one's the same. I really have to wonder if these are real local talent or hoes in real life, because one of them looked like she literally was going to head back to the corner after.
It could be a mix of both, bro.
And JR called them buffalo hoes.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that one.
It was a good one. The cops go to the back. They subdue Vince, and then they arrest him. And then, like, on the way to the cops escorting Vince to the police car, DX causes a distraction, and Triple H jumps Vince. But they didn't arrest Triple H for that one, so where's your fucking consistency there? Next, you get Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys in a time filler match. Edge and Christian win. Like, literally, there was no progression, any storyline. It was just like, we got like 5 minutes we got to fill. Just go out there and have a match real quick. Cole's with The Rock. He needs a tag team partner for tonight, and Snow and Mankind walk by, and Rock runs down Mankind, and he goes to Snow, and he asks Snow, "Who are you? You work for the building? What in the hell is that, a mannequin head? I want you to take that mannequin head to make it all nice and made up, and yada, yada, yada." And then Rock says, "Oh, and just for the record, I wasn't the one that threw your book in the trash. In Chapter 37, it was The Rock who carried Mankind through the Royal Rumble." and he leaves. Mankind goes, he read the book. Good moment. Vince arrives at the police station. We get a vignette for the McMahon test wedding in Las Vegas, which will be next week. I can't wait. Woo. Remember watching that one live. We go to the bridal shower. Moolah and Mae Young are there. They open. Steph opens up a gift for them. It's handcuffs, a leather skirt, and thong, and a whip. Linda takes the whip. She's like, nope. She knows what Vince likes.
Your daddy needs that one.
Yep. And then Mae whispers sex secrets to Stephanie. Ew.
Mae and Moolah were pretty much Mae was the best part of this fucking bridal shower.
The next segment is fucking great.
Exactly.
It's fucking great. You get X-Pac versus Jeff Hardy. Hardy hits a Swanton bomb, but Road Dogg pulls him off at 2. Rest of DX interferes. X-Pac wins. Beat down post-match. We see Vince getting booked at the police station. We go back to the bridal shower. Mae Young's getting shit-faced. Moolah's trying to stop her from drinking. You know they were like only 40 during this part?
Fuck out of here.
No, they weren't.
Mae Young was 175 years old when she did that segment.
I don't care how old he was. Got his ass beat. There's a present from Linda. She says, we got a chartered flight to Vegas for the bachelorette party. The limo's outside waiting for us. And Mae is very excited about it. She falls face first into the cake and then smashes some cake into Stephanie and Moolah's face.
You know what this means, though? This is the night, technically, that Triple H does this whole thing.
Even though they weren't in Vegas.
Well, he must fly out right after.
Yeah. We see Vince getting his mug shot, and then we get Big Show versus Kane for the world title. And I saw a sign. I don't know if you saw it. You were definitely way too young to be involved at this point. At least I think you were. You didn't see it?
Well, I don't know. You going to say the sign?
The Pain Clinic.
Really? I missed it.
There was a Pain Clinic sign. Yep.
So it was definitely probably cash. No shit. That's crazy.
Yeah. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, go back and check it out. It was definitely on there. Let's see. Tori's watching from the top of the ramp. Viscera comes in from behind her. So Tori runs to the ring to get away. Kane goes after Viscera and gets counted out. Viscera gets into the ring and Show slams him. It's a way to get out of booking Big Show versus Kane for the world title on Raw, and Viscera can eat a choke slam. There you go. Mm-hmm. Shane's on the phone with Vince. Shane tells Vince, don't worry, it's on its way. And and then Vince says something to him, and Shane's like, I'd be happy to deliver that message to you. And then they show the Dominator in the crowd. Dominic Hasek, best goalie of all time. If you know, you know. Triple H comes to the ring. We get asshole chants. Triple H says, you have no idea how big an asshole I can be. And we get footage of Vince crashing the car into the limo, and Triple H is basically like, that seems like something that just happened to Austin recently, doesn't it? Basically just saying, if he did that, why didn't he do that? He says, you know what? I'm the one that pressed charges to get Vince arrested. I want him at Armageddon. Shane comes to the ramp, says, you don't cross the boss. Vince called me with his one and only call, and the message is he can't wait to get his hands on you at Armageddon. And you know what? Momageddon?
Llamageddon.
Llamageddon. Whatever it is. That's sheep, llama, either. You got both. It says, you know what? You're going to face the Acolytes in a handicap match tonight. Triple H says, get in this ring and see if you can walk the walker if you're just a little bitch. So DX comes in behind Shane. They back him into the ring. It's a beatdown. Test and the Stooges come in. Then the Hardys. Then the Acolytes. And JR says, put the women and children to bed.
Why? Because people are punching each other? They've been doing this all night.
I know. That's the whole basis of wrestling. We come back from break. Mr. Ass is getting his leg/ankle checked out. He was supposed to have a tag title match later. We'll see where that goes. Next, you get Val Venus and
that
Bulldog.
Is, by the way, the medic checking him out. She looked like she was like in porn or something.
She looked like she could have been one of the hoes.
Right.
I mean, that's just... Yeah, no, definitely. I'm almost wondering if it was just kind of like a get. You know what I mean? Like, just kind of like a joke. Like, they did that on purpose just to... And anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Val Venus and Bulldog versus Too Cool. The guy with the Worldwide Filth sign is back. You don't really get a good shot of him. You just see the sign. And then JR brings up the Parents Television Council, founded by L. Brent Bozell III. And if, in case you're wondering, that's not something they made up as a gimmick. That's actually the person's name who founded this organization. And it's basically... the whole Tipper Gore thing. Remember Tipper Gore did the whole parental advisory stickers on CDs? It's basically that for TV. A bunch of fucking touch holes who want to ruin shit for everybody else and make your decisions for you, which is basically what JR says, and goes on a rant. And then right after these, I just want to remind you that WWF, we're supporting our veterans, and we got our veteran spotlight every week.
Was it Veterans Day?
No, it's just, I think, a way just to kind of save face.
I know.
Well, in the moment of the night, and one of those moments in the wars where you're just so excited about something so stupid, Val Venus just bounces. Mean Street Posse make the saves. And then Rikishi makes the save. Rikishi makes his debut.
Rikishi.
And yeah, exactly. Rikishi, because that's how fucking JR is saying it right now. And JR goes, look at that ample-sized posterior. So they fight everybody off, and Too Cool start dancing, and they stop Rikishi, try to get him to dance, and he does. I didn't realize that Rikishi went right into the dancing right from the get-go.
Pretty much. And it's funny, though, that like he's the one that ran over Austin, considering, or like what he says he did it for The Rock, all that shit. And it's like, you weren't even on TV at the time.
Exactly.
It's weird.
That's why it's one of the worst angles, because at first it was Triple H, then it was Rikishi. Whatever.
You did it for The Rock.
We got Road Dogg versus Test. Shane is your ref and says, if DX interferes with Triple H's match later tonight, they're going to be suspended for 30 days. Test sets up a pump handle slam and hits it doggy style on Road Dogg and gets the win.
Ew.
It was pretty ew. Next, you get Bossman and Albert versus The Rock in question mark. Bossman cuts a promo before Rock gets there saying, you know what, I'm the number one contender because I beat The Rock. Rock comes out, says there ain't no partner The Rock will trust. So tonight, The Rock's partner is the people. We see Snow and Mankind watching from the back. And they actually, I think they refer to him as Mick Foley because he's not wearing his mask. Like, JR made a point to call him Mick Foley, but other than that, he keeps calling him Mankind. Mankind comes out, gets in Rock's corner. Mankind's the hot tag. Sacco to Albert, then Bossman. Rock bottom to Albert, then the People's Elbow. And I don't even know if there was a pin. I think they just called the match and they just left. It was weird.
Good enough. Next segment.
We see Triple H coming out of the locker room. The Stooges are clowning him because he's got to face the Acolytes in a handicap match. We go back to the jail. Vince's bail's been posted. Cops tell him, hey, don't go back to the arena. Don't go back to the arena. Go back to the arena. So your main event, you get Triple H versus the Acolytes. It's a handicap match. No DQ also. Acolytes are in control most of the match. They fight on the ramp in the crowd. You know the spiel. Triple H hits a chair shot on Bradshaw. Starts heading up the ramp like I'm done with this fucking thing. Vince comes out, hits Triple H with the chair, and throws him off the stage. And then the best part is he just takes the chair and just tosses it off the stage right on top of Triple H. It was fucking great. So there's that.
That was Raw.
That was fucking Raw. Baby, I like it raw.
Fucking Raw. All right, man. Well, some good matches there. But now it's time to talk about some really good matches in our top topic.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for...
Best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever will be. Hold 2, arm bar.
Sodas rule. Yeah, they do.
Hold 3, the moss-covered, 3-handle family gradunzel.
It's me, Austin! Just when they think they got the answers, I change the questions.
I did it for The Rock.
This week's top topic.
You know something, Mean Gene? John Cena! Wrestling's not fake!
The Rolex wearing one, diamond ring wearing one, kiss stealing, woo, wheeling dealing, one, limousine riding, one, jet flying, one, son of a gun, woo!
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
following ranking order and final decisions are a completely bias-based order, based off The Professor and ODM Made It. And as always, they like to let you know they have not worked in the business, but have been lifelong invested fans much like you, our listeners. With not only their opinions involved, but with countless amount of hours of research done each week, they make sure to provide proper facts and history to back it up. However, they do know that your opinion may vary from theirs. If there is anything you want to chat about, bring to their attention. If there is something they missed or forgot, or you just want to let them know they are out of their freaking minds, feel free to shoot them a message on Facebook or Twitter, or email them at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com. As always, they do appreciate all feedback and continued support. At the end of the day, they want to make sure that you do see the best of the best before you die. And now, this week's top topic.
We went from 64 to 32. Now we're at the hefty 32, and we're dropping them down to the Sweet 16 today. What matches should Weezy watch? Or a new fan? And I assume, probably the same as last time, ODM, you are going to be manning that dock for us and putting the winner on to the next round. So let's begin with Bracket A. And by the way, I thought this very funny. Both Bracket A and B end with the same feuds.
I saw that, yeah.
I was like, interesting.
Yeah,
but we'll see
very
where we go with that. Bracket A. So, last time we did this, Dustin Rhodes and Cody Rhodes. The match from Double or Nothing 2019 and moved on. And it's going against another AEW match. And that is Kenny Omega and Pac 3, the 30-minute Iron Man match. Go.
I'm gonna have a really tough time, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm stalling because I didn't have my bracket up as well, the one where I actually have my choices on there, my picks on there.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't make choices at all.
Well, here's the thing. I did, and most of them I feel like are going to be fucking worthless because this is a very tough one for me. Weezy definitely remembers Goldust. He definitely knows Cody Rhodes. But the Omega Pac match, like, this might be one of my favorite ones because this is the one that was on Dynamite that actually went to overtime, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Oh, way to spoil it, you fuck.
Is that? Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't say who won. I just said it went to overtime. But this match was fucking... That's my favorite match, I think, of the trilogy. But
my question is this. If we moved on, the brothers feud, is it fair to say he may be seeing an Omega match?
I have a funny feeling he's going to see an Omega match.
I got to be honest, man. It's not storyline-wise huge when it came to the brothers match. But, from the throne to the end and the promo, I think they did a good job with it. However, if we're talking about, something that someone's got to see and it's man, I don't know. I can understand the Omega Pac 3. I really can. I really am on the fence with this one.
It's a tough one, dude. It's tough. Here's the thing. I feel like as much story as there is with Dustin and Cody, there wasn't really much behind it. Omega Pac was their third match, and for a TV match, it was pretty fucking good. And I feel like for somebody just taking storyline out of it and just wanting to sit down and watch a match, I feel like the Omega Pac one's going to be more entertaining.
Okay. I'll let you have that one. That's moving on to the next round.
That was a tough
Up next, we got CM Punk and John Cena in Chicago at Money in the Bank. And that goes against Tommaso Ciampa, versus Johnny Gargano. Their first altercation.
You wrote it wrong.
Did I? Oh, no. I didn't write it wrong.
Okay.
I don't know why my head just went to I read it wrong. Yeah. Nope.
Gotcha.
It is Punk and Cena at Money in the Bank. Yes. That is against the Unbreakable 2005 match, the Triple Threat X Division Championship match between Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, and AJ Styles. I say Triple Threat because I get the storyline, and you got Punk and Cena. He knows who those guys are. I think this Triple Threat is a better match than Punk and Cena. I think Punk and Cena was good, but I think the Triple Threat's way better.
I think everything you said is exactly true. I've never seen that Triple Threat match. I plan on watching it no matter what happens with this tournament. But he even knows who Samoa Joe and AJ Styles are. So I feel like he'd be more excited about seeing that match and the joy of the unknown there.
In their youth, too.
In their youth as well, yes. So I'm with you 100% on that one. Triple Threat moves on.
So now it's Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. And that's the first one that they had, which was in New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And that is going against Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, the Iron Man match. You gotta hit me with something a little stronger than a really good Iron Man match if you're gonna do Gargano and Ciampa out. That match. It to me is one of the peaks of NXT.
I mean, I really feel like it went downhill after that match, or around that time anyway.
Well, no, because I mean, you still had some other guys coming up. You still had Adam Cole and Gargano to come after that. So, I mean, it was not the absolute
it leveled out
when it was at its best. It was at its best for sure.
Okay. I agree with you. Angle Lesnar Iron Man is a great match. It's it's two good talents. They had a good program together. But Ciampa versus Gargano, even without the backstory, this was their best match by far.
Yep.
No music,
I agree.
The anticipation was just too much. So I'm with you on that one. Ciampa Gargano moves on.
Up next, 2 WrestleMania matches facing off. One from 17, one from 25. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, their first encounter at WrestleMania. And, well, not their first, it was their first WrestleMania encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes against the Triple Threat TLC tag title match. The Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys. Bro.
This is a tough one.
I'm not even doing the Karrion Kross thing. I was there. I was there for Taker and Michaels, and I probably watch that match, if not once a year, maybe once every other year. It's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
TLC 2 was just unprecedented, and there was, and it's not just the 6 competitors as well. You got Rhino, Lita, and Spike Dudley.
Yeah.
I mean, this was probably, again, going to peak. This is peak Attitude. This was your best, because later in the night, Austin's turning heel, and everybody's like, what the fuck just happened? Yep. You know what I mean? Like, and it never really recovered, I think. Attitude era was never better than probably WrestleMania 17.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys stole the fucking show, and they were up against Austin and Rock. I think, like, Angle and Kane. There was a lot on that card that was big. I think even Triple H and Undertaker were on that card. Yep.
And
that was the one where they fought all through the arena.
I'm thinking of something else. Never mind. Moving on.
But either way, my point is that this was. Oh, that was also McMahon and Shane. So I'm saying there was a lot on the line with all of this here, right? And the Triple Threat to me, I think, was like, I don't know. I'm really torn because again, Michaels and Taker, they stole the show at 25.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
The way I look at it is that these are both top tier matches. These are both matches that are important in the history of wrestling, and at the very least, WWF, WWE, right? They kept talking about that Bills game, that Josh Allen run at the end. He's like, when he wins the MVP, when he retires, like they're going to show this clip. Like this is going to be one of the first clips that they show. When you go back and you look at WWE history, these are some of the matches that you're going to hear about. It's almost impossible. There's no way you lose. This is the way that I look at it as. The TLC match is fun. Weezy probably has seen either the entire match or at least the high points of the match.
Sure.
Taker Michaels, I doubt he's seen anything. He might have seen one spot. Maybe in passing. So, not because I'm a mark.
You are right,
for it.
because a lot of the spots are always shown. I mean, I've seen Jeff Hardy coming off the ladder at 17, or Edge getting Edge spearing him. I can. You're right. Maybe that was more of a spot fest. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's
I
great,
don't even care that it's
but
a
he's
spot
seen.
fest.
But I'm saying he has seen ladder match spot fest before.
Yes.
So I will let you. I'm agreeing with you on this. By the way, is there such a thing as a draw? Like, it's a draw, so the next person gets a bye.
I don't have a nail file, but I have some guitar picks we can use.
Fair. Oh, going back to season 1. Nice. All right, so Taker and Michaels move on. Up next, I think this is probably going to be a pretty quick slam dunk, but you got Sting versus Ric Flair at Great American Bash, and that goes up against Wrestle Kingdom 10's Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada, their very first encounter. I gotta say Wrestle Kingdom, to be honest with you. I think it's way better than Sting and Flair.
Slam dunk.
Okay. I like Sting and Flair. That's actually one. That's one I like watching. I like watching Sting win the World Championship for the first time. Big belt, but yeah, I'm. Up next, Samoa Joe and CM Punk in Chicago. Their second bout. It's not on here, so it's okay to say. Their first bout went to a draw, 60-minute time limit draw. This one here in Chicago, what's going to happen? And I mean, it's against Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero Halloween Havoc, which is probably the peak of cruiserweight matches, probably all time. I would say that's probably the best cruiserweight match. Guaranteed,
Stateside at least.
Sure. That's within the two promotions between WWE and WCW. That's probably one of the best ones.
Yeah, 100%.
I go with Joe Punk because, without giving spoilers, this match, it's a good one. It's a long, good match, and they don't slow down for two guys. Well, I mean, they do some rest holds, but it's meant to be like, this is not spoiling anything. Within the first couple minutes, Punk cannot stop putting Joe into a headlock. And I'm like, that's so rarely used the right way, where it's like no matter what, he just keeps going to it because you're wearing him down. And he had to wear down the big guy. So for me, I'm always have a big soft spot for that one. I say Joe Punk.
I think we're gonna have to go to the guitar pick. I think for most wrestling fans that
I gave you multiple
stuff,
earlier.
I think
this motherfucker.
Listen, okay.
Have you watched this match?
Listen, I have.
Did you? Have you physically watched both of these fucking matches? Yeah,
I physically have watched both of these matches. Yes.
Okay.
This is not about what I like better. This is about what I think the mass populace would enjoy. I watched Omega Okada 1, and then I watched Omega Okada 2. So I liked the finish for the second match because of how it related to the first match. And the same thing plays true here with Joe versus Punk 2. Now, again, without trying to spoil anything, I think the pacing isn't bad, but the length of the match and the finish, most people who aren't experienced with wrestling, and Weezy included in that, would hate it. They would hate it. And I say hate. They would say there was good wrestling in there, but they would hate the match because of the length and the finish. While you and I would say that match kicked ass because of the length and the finish.
And I will say the length and finish of Mysterio Guerrero rivals it in the right way. It's the counter. Like you actually get you get the fucking ending to that match is pretty fucking sick. Mm-hmm. Like you weren't ready for it. So okay. I want to make this very clear. I am not saying that Mysterio and Eddie is better than Joe and Punk 2. I ain't saying that. I'm saying, but on a mass basis, is someone seeing it for the first time, or other people, and you're trying to get them into wrestling. All right, you got me on that one.
Yep.
Now, this is where we're gonna fucking argue. I sent this to you 2 weeks ago. Did you watch it?
No, not yet. I'm waiting. There's a lot of matches on this list I actually want to watch that I haven't watched yet, so don't worry.
Joe versus Kobashi. Mm-hmm. Kenta Kobashi from Japan comes over to Ring of Honor. It's his first time ever coming over to America, and the first opponent is Samoa Joe. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's really done anything else over here since. It was pretty much just that. And that's going against WrestleMania 17's Austin versus Rock. Their second WrestleMania match. I think that the problem is with Austin Rock is it's an Attitude Era match.
Yeah.
It's just the same. formula, especially for Austin. Brawling all over the fucking arena.
Right.
And there's a lot of, malarkey going on, if you will, with the ending. Joe Kobashi, that is a eye-opener of a fucking match when it comes to two big men.
Austin came to WWE and started as the ringmaster because he was a good in-ring worker, became Stone Cold Steve Austin, and had shitty I won't say shitty matches.
Well, he broke his fucking neck.
He lost. Then he broke his neck, which made it even worse. So, yeah, no, I'm with you 100%.
Yep.
I'm with you 100%. Joe versus Kobashi moves on.
All right. This is interesting. We're closing out Bracket A.
Oh,
so we got Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic, their third encounter, against Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit in a 2 out of 3 falls match. I'm going to allow you to have, well, because I'll be honest with you, and we could talk about both right now, which is fine. Bracket B closes out Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit at Royal Rumble 2003. And that's against Keith Lee and Dijakovic, their first encounter. I am going to say Lee Dijakovic 3 should move on because Angle Benoit at Royal Rumble was a fucking wrestling clinic.
That's the one where Benoit got the standing ovation.
Standing ovation. Yep.
Okay. So here's my suggestion. Dijak 3 was okay. It was good. I believe that was I think you mentioned this already. I think that was the pandemic one. So, it was a little lackluster. The first one was great because nobody saw it coming. The first one was the one that said, give me more. So this is what I suggest we do. I say we swap Angle Benoit Royal Rumble 2003 with Angle Benoit Judgment Day. We switch those bracket spots, and Royal Rumble moves on.
So the right ones
Lee
move on.
Dijakovic move on. We're pulling an executive decision here.
Pulling a fucking WWE. We're just going back on our word. Fuck it. It's wrestling. Might as well change shit up. I'm with that. So Angle Benoit Royal Rumble will move on, and Lee Dijakovic 1 moves on.
So you gotta give me an extra second here because I gotta update the brackets the right way here. So what we're
and as you're doing
here,
that, we'll start beginning to talk about Bracket B. And Bracket B is 2 very classic matches. One of them I went back personally to rewatch, and that is Hulk Hogan, or Hollywood Hogan, against The Rock at WrestleMania 18, going against Bret Hart versus Diesel, Survivor Series 95. And that's their third match. Their first 2 ended I think pretty much schmoz matches, and this one was no count out, no DQ, first ever WWF table bump. And again, I just recently went back and watched Rock Hogan because I wanted to see if it held up. And I think it's hard to not push Hogan and Rock through because it was, not necessarily passing of a torch because Rock was already there, but it was 2 big fucking icons. I almost wish that, Cena does the same thing. He's passing it off to the next big star. I don't know who that would be, who we can get in debate about that. But I would actually I got to say Hogan Rock for this one. As much as I love Bret and Diesel, that's one of my favorite matches all time, by the way.
Yeah, this one's tough because both had a air about them. But again, we've talked about this with Hogan and Rock. The match may not be the best match ever, but the atmosphere was electric. I know that's a cliche, and I think WWE uses that descriptor a lot when they talk about this match. But it was. We talked about this before. You can book a match all you want, but sometimes the crowd makes the decision for you. And that's what happened with that, and that does not happen a lot. So I'm perfectly fine with that decision.
All right. Up next, this one's kind of tough for me, but then again, it's not. It's Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. Again, they are in an ultimate submission match, which is 30 minutes. Only way you win is by submission. I like it because it was so many awesome counters. Like one's in a submission, puts the other guy into submission, just going back, forth, back, forth. It was two fucking wrestling pros. Problem is, it's going against Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada 3. Which, well, technically it's a fourth match for them, but it's their third championship match together.
Yes.
And it is a no time limit match for reasons, if you watched the other matches. This one, by the way, not only is it no time limit, it's also a fucking 2 out of 3 falls match.
Mm-hmm.
Omega Okada goes on.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and I mean, just not that I have to make the point. I mean, I think you already made a good case for it, but let's not forget, again, when we talked about Joe Punk, again, you and I'll cream our pants all day in an ultimate submission match, especially between these two guys. A lot of people will see that and be like, this is fucking boring, turn it off. So.
Well, I'm kind of curious how this one happens for us for this next one. We got Flair and Steamboat. And that's going against Omega Okada 2 from Dominion. Which, I'm not going to say that last part which you have written there, but because I don't want to spoil things. You got to look at it as everybody knows who Babe Ruth is, and they've seen at least him hit a home run, like whether it's an old time thing, you know what I'm saying, like a flashback. Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knows the greats. Flair and Steamboat, their second match. I mean, I can't say it's the very best of all 3 of their matches, but those are 2 legends. And it's hard to put this Dominion match against it. And I know you love Dominion. But if we're already pushing on the 3rd match, I think Flair Steamboat should have at least a fair shake into this. But it's not going to matter once it gets to the next round.
Pretty much, you're pretty much right. But I agree with you at this point. That makes we're not doing this bracket by saying, well, we got to make sure that there's an old time match and there's a New Japan match and a Ring of Honor match. We're not doing that. But in instances like this, it's the tiebreaker because we've already got the first one and the third one, and to me, those are the most important matches.
Yes.
2, I do love 2, but again, same reasoning with other matches. The finish might not go over well with everybody, so. Having an old-time match like Flair Steamboat, which is a fucking classic, is the right choice.
Kevin Steen and El Generico, their third encounter, and it was Ladder War. And this was while Steen was the world champion in Ring of Honor. And that goes against Undertaker and Triple H. Their second, well, technically third WrestleMania encounter, but second in a row. Hell in a Cell, end of an era. Hands down, it's the Hell in a Cell. I don't even need to discuss it. Steen Generico, it's good. I like it. But it's on an indie level good. This is WrestleMania, and this was a fucking epic encounter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No arguments here.
Beautiful. This is going to be tough.
It is.
Austin and Brett, WrestleMania 13 versus Tomohiro Ishii versus Katsuyori Shibata at Wrestle Kingdom 10. Now, I love that match because they beat the living piss out of each other. But Austin and Brett is too much of a classic to skip out on that one. It's kind of like when we talked about Austin and Rock earlier. Austin Rock or Austin Brett. Austin was prime. He hadn't broken his neck. He wasn't hurt. Mm-hmm. This was good Austin. So I say WrestleMania 13 is what really moves on.
This is the double turn, right?
Yeah, that's why I'm like, it's just too good. And Ken Shamrock's the ref.
Yeah, man, I see what you're saying. This is a tough one because Austin versus Brett that's the double turn. Oh, fuck, I spoiled it again. See? That's how terrible I am. I had a chance to redeem myself, and I still fucked it up.
That's even funnier. But no, hang on. But it doesn't matter, because that's right. It's known, and it doesn't matter even walking into knowing
we have said before.
I mean, it's kind of like he knows that Lesnar's the one that ended the streak, and we're still pushing on a couple of Taker matches.
Exactly. It's one of WWF's best matches, because everything was perfect. You had Austin on the rise. You had Brett, who was almost getting played out, and they booked it right. they had the crowd hook, line, and sinker, and they bought it, but they did it because it was natural and it made sense. I mean, it was really perfection on almost every single level. There wasn't one thing that went wrong with this match. And the finish is iconic. You can't beat it. How excited do you think Weezy would be if he watched Ishii and Shibata just beat the shit out of each other?
Be good. But I think the actual WrestleMania match was way better.
Then that's what we're doing. If he wants to see Ishii and Shibata beat the shit out of each other, he can do that on his own time. I'll help him out.
That's the point. You let me know. So, up next is another Bret Hart match, and that's against Mr. Perfect at King of the Ring 93. It's a semifinals match. And that is against FTR and the Briscoes, their first meeting. Given what's also left and around in this and what we've already moved on, I actually think the FTR Briscoes first meeting was fantastic, and that should be the one that moves on.
Yeah, I
agree with you. It's a great tag team match.
Yeah, and I know, and we've talked about this before, that you like this King of the Ring match better than the SummerSlam match. I've always been a fan. I know it's cliched. I know it's the one everybody talks about. You know, it gets overplayed. It still is it holds a special place in my heart. FTR Briscoes, it's one of those ones that, all right, you might not be a fan of tag team wrestling and you may not know who these guys are, but when you see these guys they may not be hosses, but they fucking wrestle like hosses sometimes.
It was a good stiff match for two tag teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was two long-standing tag teams that had never met, so it was an epic meeting.
With mutual respect.
Yep. So yeah, that tag match is what's going to move on. Up next, it's another tag match with FTR, but when they were the Revival against American Alpha, and that was in Dallas. And that goes against Bret versus Owen, the steel cage match from SummerSlam 94. Man, I got to be honest with you. It's Bret and Owen, too. I put on the same level as Bret Austin at WrestleMania. It's so good. So steel cage moves on. Not even a question.
Yeah, and just to give Revival and American Alpha their flowers, I think that's one of the first matches I put on the list when I started crafting this for Weezy. So we might have to have a losers bracket or something. After he watches the final four and comes to a decision, maybe we revisit and we do a losers bracket or something.
There you go. And, we already took care of the end of that other side of the bracket, too. So that is all of it, man. So
you ready for a review?
Let's do it. Who are our Sweet 16 matchups?
All right. Sweet 16 in Group A. We got Omega Pac 3, the 30-minute Iron Man match, versus Joe Daniel Styles X Division Triple Threat.
Jesus.
We've got Ciampa Gargano 1 versus Taker Michaels at WrestleMania 25.
Oof.
We've got Omega Okada 1 at Wrestle Kingdom 10 versus Mysterio Eddie at Halloween Havoc 97. And this might be the one that breaks your brain. It's Joe Kobashi versus Angle Benoit at Royal Rumble 2003.
Two totally different matches, but they're
bangers.
Goddamn, wow. That's,
bangers.
Yeah. I already watched one of them recently.
Group B, we've got Hogan and Rock versus Omega Okada 3. We got Flair Steamboat 2 versus Taker Triple H at WrestleMania 28 Hell in a Cell. We've got Austin Brett at Mania 13 versus FTR Briscoes 1. And then we've got Bret Owen 2 Steel Cage versus Lee Dijakovic 1.
Some of them can be slam dunk. Some of them are going to be really tough, man. But that's what the problem is, and it's going to get worse when we go from Sweet 16 to the Elite 8.
100%.
Have full-on panic attacks arguing with each other.
Hey, it hasn't
I'm already
been
getting
bad
antsy
so far.
looking at the list right now.
But here's the thing. We can do it where so right now the idea is, what would Weezy or a non-wrestling fan enjoy watching? And that's the criteria we're using. And we're doing a really good job, I feel like, both of us, is sticking to that, right?
Yeah.
The losers bracket could be, fuck you, this match is better. This match should move on. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I still think I should be arguing that way, but you've convinced me on a couple. That's the problem.
I got to try to reel you in somehow,
Well, next week, I'm hoping next week you bring a little bit more to the table than you did on Disco. And I don't care if it's a whole fucking cutting promo on this thing, but we're going to be talking about country. Doesn't country usually have an O in it? No. Anyway, we are going to be talking
Giggity.
about country. Are you a fan of any at all? Whether it's the Cash Jennings type era, is it the new era where I like to ride with my truck and drink my beer? Some think I am a giant. Anyway, so the point is,
were you asking me a question? If you're
going
to ask me a question, give me a chance to answer. Unless the question's rhetorical, in which case the answer's obviously yes.
So is that your answer?
Yes.
Wow. Yes, you're going to talk next week?
I
forgot the question.
Let's say pre-90s
Sometimes I start a
country.
sentence and I don't even know where I'm going to end.
That was Ocean's 12, by the way. No, I'd say pre-90s country. Yeah, the shit today, I've almost thought about like going back to college just to write a thesis on the buzzwords used in country songs, like listening to the country station for a day and just tallying what words are used
the same
over
shit.
and over again. It's pop music. It's terrible.
Do you do the Kane Hackman theory as well?
Pretty much. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
No matter what time of day, you could get a Gene Hackman movie.
A Bridge Too Far, Gene Hackman, and what's his name in the same movie. This is my thesis, man.
I can stop watching TV. My favorite part, though, is call me when the shower scene's on. Because I goes, shower scene. Oh, yeah. We'll be back next week. This is the Top of Wrestling Podcast. I'm the Professor Mark Fantasia. I bid you a farewell. And this man, he likes to leave you with some very well-educated, well-thought-out thoughts. Yeah, go ahead, ODM.
Hit the music!
The bills make me wanna shout. Kick your heels up and shout. Throw your hands up and shout. Throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo. Let's go, Buffalo.
The Top of Wrestling Podcast is brought to you by The Top of Wrestling Podcast. Your hosts are the Professor Mark Fantasia and ODM, the Doc, Joe Rizzo. Feel free to reach out to the show by email at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com, on their Facebook page, Twitter page, Instagram page. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. You can listen to the show on most popular platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, Pandora, and YouTube. Without your continued support, it would be just some guys talking wrestling, which is pretty much what it is anyway. Good night, folks.
You really should watch Llamageddon.
What's that?
You really, really need to watch Llamageddon. Like,
I mean, I'll check it out. I'm not going to lie.
For no reason whatsoever, right? This chick is just talking to this black guy. And out of nowhere, porn music just starts up. and everybody's just dancing for no fucking reason, and it goes on for at least a minute, and then the music goes away, and they just go right back to talking, like for no fucking reason. I'm telling you,
Did Tony Khan do this movie?
Dude, I'm telling you, I was dying, and I kept saying, this is so fucking stupid, it's awesome.
The only thing that have you ever seen the video of it's Taylor Swift singing like the hook or part of one of her songs, and then it's a llama screaming, like they just
oh yeah,
it in.
the
I love it.
trouble.
Ever.